word that we turned into a 4-letter word. And it's just so descriptive of who we are. Balance sheet and a P&L. So at the end of the day, you would be investing in a space, the music space, the live music space, that is exploding. Never been a time in history where the demand of tickets has been higher than it is today, and there's never been a time in history where the supply of new artists is higher than it is today. So here you've got a industry with the high demand, and we have a great team that does that. Go to our website, venue.live, as Coach said, and when you go there, you can click on investing, and you can look at all of the venues that we're building any place in the United States, and it will give you information on that. You can also come to our offices, whether here or in Dallas or wherever, and use virtual reality to actually sit in any of our venues, or buy a ticket and come out to the Ford Amphitheater this summer and catch a great show.
I saw the Steve Miller Band last year. Really good band.
Steve Miller Band was a great show we had this year, but we had just so many great shows. It's a fun place.
So someone should come and look at it because you can actually invest in one of the VIP fire pit spaces, right?
Yep.
Right, and is that a lifetime ownership when you invest?
It is lifetime ownership. And I tell people this all the time, too. At the end of the day, the best way to understand what we do is to experience what we do. And the best way to experience what we do is come sit in my suite at the Ford Amphitheater.
I did.
Yeah, you did. Dang right you did. Yeah.
J.W. Roth, folks, and the...
Excited to dive into this. You have received the book, the big book on retirement. Maybe you've started reading it. Well, we are here. I'm Thomas Lipscomb. We're here with best-selling author Coach Pete D'Arruda, who wrote this awesome book. And I thought maybe for this first little dive through the book, we could talk about why you wrote it. But folks, just in case you're wondering, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going through this book chapter by chapter and getting a little bit of a, let's call it behind the scenes of the writing process, the intentions behind it, all that jazz.
This is book number 18 that I've written. Yes. And you know what happens a lot of times, I know it happens. People have given me books before. Somebody gives you a book, maybe a couple books you have that you wanted to read, you haven't read them yet, so you say, I'll read this sometime.
Sure.
It gets put on the bookcase, and then it gets forgotten.
Yep.
So these are really good tools and techniques in this book. We're going to go through every chapter telling you why it's important, but you can really act on these tips and tools to get a better retirement. So that's why we wrote it. I didn't write it just to write a book. I've got plenty of books. I don't need any more books. But we wrote this for a very important purpose, and that's so you could understand how to really plan your own retirement.
It's true, and you've divided it into 5 key sections. You have game theory, tactics, offense, defense, and the 2-minute warning. Yeah. I love how you made this analogy. You know, you call it the big book on retirement, but you've made this great sports analogy here where you're kind of taking every element and comparing retirement in that way.
Well, there's a big game every year. We can't call it. It's a football championship. If you say the name, you have to pay the NFL.
I like Campbell's tomato soup, Coach.
Super.
It's super.
Yeah. So, but we all watch it.
Yes.
And the commercials charge a lot of money for the commercials.
Oh, yes,
but
they're so good.
It's the same theory, though. It's 2 teams going against each other. Sometimes you can tell one team was more prepared than the other.
No doubt.
We want you to be that team that's prepared to play offense all the way through retirement. In other words, doing what you want to do on your terms. And that's why I wrote the book. So I hope you enjoy it. We're going to tell you why each chapter is important, but skim through it. Find some chapters that interest you. If you have any questions or if you want your own plan done.
There's another strategy that can help. Dating back to ancient Rome, annuities are a savings vehicle that have helped many people on the road to retirement. In modern times, they provide a conservative savings strategy that might be right for you.
Quite simply, an annuity is a savings account offered from an insurance company. Now, there's some bells and whistles, and there's some things you need to know before you get into an annuity. Annuities are there for you for retirement. That's what annuities were designed for.
There are 3 main types of annuities: variable, fixed, and fixed indexed. They have some important differences, each carving out their potential place in a retirement plan.
First one is a variable annuity, which in my humble opinion is one of the worst financial instruments ever designed. Why? Because first of all, it doesn't provide you with safe money. Unless you start tacking on riders and this and that, and every time you add something on with a variable annuity, you start basically pushing up the cost. On average, the average variable annuity that I've seen in my lifetime has been with fees of 3.5%.
Variable annuities are tied to an index or lose money. The market goes down, you
make as much as what the market does. It's a little bit off on the market. Where if the market on average is 8 to 10% for the past 100 years, an index annuity is running 5 to 7%. So you do give up a little bit of earnings on that. Actually, I don't look at it as being tied down. I look at it as being protected.
My period of time is a lifetime income, so we use these for retirement. It is in effect a pension account. The minute you retire or decide you want to start taking money, you get a lifetime income you can never outlive, even if your balance goes to zero. You pass away, your spouse continues to get that same income until they pass away. Both of you pass away, whatever balance is in there goes on to the next of kin or wherever you decide to go, churches, charities, wherever you want. In other words, you do not lose your money when you die. The old annuities of the past, the minute you died, the money went into the insurance company's pocket. Common misconception these days that Wall Street likes to push, because if they can get you not to put money in an annuity, they keep it under their management at risk. They make a lot more money in fees, expenses, and commissions, whereas you should have some of your money in a place where there's no fees, no financial termites.
Ins and outs of your retirement plan. A customized plan based on you.
Do in the next 5 years.
You know, it's been in the news so much, but quite frankly, I don't think people take it as seriously as they should, and that is AI. And AI has, since its introduction into the marketplace, it's just made simply aren't going to exist in 5 years.
Yeah, that's so. What makes you happiest about this, and then what makes you saddest, and what scares you the most?
So that gives me, and as long as you interact with this artificial intelligence platform every day, put off mowing the lawn until 3 o'clock because it's supposed to rain.
That sounds like I used to do, but I just put it off for a couple of days.
Yeah, exactly.
You wouldn't go back out to do it.
Yeah, right.
and you might say, hey, at least it notifies you there's a problem. Now, for remote homeowners, this is great because after it mows your lawn, it goes back and parks in the recharging station, and it's ready to go again.
Hey, all right, so what is the scariest thing to you about AI going forward?
The scariest thing to me about AI is when it gets into certain applications that it shouldn't be in, and that there's nobody checking it or verifying it. For people that don't recognize that it's not perfect, it gets you in a lot of trouble. In fact, there's been attorneys because, quite frankly, AI
What do you think?
smart city technology integrating with smart cars. We're seeing road signs that automatically update based on road conditions, accidents, and things like that. They start to detect backups and they reroute traffic automatically. But now with smart cars, you're getting those messages because it knows your route. In fact, I've got a 2026 model now, and I don't even have to tell it when I'm heading home. It knows. It updates the route if there's any problems, and it gives me my ETA. So now when my wife calls and says, when are you going to be home? I could say, 13 minutes. But we are so going to see do that.
Woo.
I don't know how I'm going to feel about that one.
Yeah.
Do that.
Woo.
I don't know how I'm going to feel about that one.
Yeah, I'm not going to look.
We are going to see driver-based cars go away. And a lot of people don't believe that, but it's the insurance companies that are pushing it. They are 100 times better at driving and having fewer accidents than the best human that they could compare to. Now, you tell me what that does to insurance companies and everything else. It will be here.
You know, but to me, insurance companies then should charge 100 times less, but they won't.
Exactly.
Because I don't know why they're mouthing off, because they make a fortune charging people all sorts of rates. When like if my neighbor has a wreck, I get charged more. You know, that kind of thing.
That's exactly right.
So to me, they better be careful what they wish for. They're going to do that FAFO kind of stuff, and they're going to be out of business when no one's having any wrecks.
In addition to that, what we're going to start to see is shared vehicle services, where when you want to go somewhere, it shows up and takes you there, and then it drops you off and goes and gets somebody else. So you won't have to really wait. But that's not that far down the road either.
It's almost, I mean, it sounds cool and it's great for technology in the future and all that, but I kind of like the freedom of doing what I want to do whenever I want to do it. I think we're going to have to overcome that with more of a automated.
A lot of critics are saying, you know what, they've gotten to the point that you really can't tell the difference. So now they're starting to print skin, for example. So if you've got a bad burn or something, you need a skin graft, no problem. Blood vessel from your own DNA technology. they are working on right now, and they think they're less than a few years away from heart and kidney. Yeah, that is probably a response, right?
I hear you.
Yeah.
But what they found was in order to get the human to engage with the robot, they had to put a face on the robot. And the more human-like they made the face, the more humans engaged with it. Well, it got to the point, even in its infancy, with faces that sort of looked human, they weren't great, that the healthcare patients wanted the robots instead of the humans. And you've got robots that are lifting 600, 1,000 pounds, moving it around in a warehouse type setting. Move over to the next booth, and they've got an exoskeleton that you could strap on for people that are quadriplegic or paraplegic that does the brain or eye connection to be assistive technology and allow you to move around without a wheelchair or anything like that.
Hollywood is ahead of science, or science is ahead of Hollywood. It's like that kind of thing. Isn't it?
Science follows Hollywood sometimes. But by the
It
way,
does,
those
yeah.
things were all available and demonstrated at the ES this year. So
what's the price on something like if you wanted one of those robots to like lift weight, like move stuff for you and work in a warehouse? I guess like 30,000.
Well, it really varies. They start at the low end, about $6,000 to $10,000 for the home assistive robots that do your house cleaning and can do some cooking and things like that. So low end there, but they'll go up to well over $100,000 depending on what you want. And the sex technology at CES has actually become about 20% of the CES floor these days.
They say sex sells, man. I'm telling you.
It's
You know, I'd
become
like
big
a
technology.
Emeril Lagasse chef robot, and he'd like say "bam" and then bring my food to me. You know, like remember,
Right.
or Chef Ramsay one that's cussing in the kitchen and bringing you good food. Beef Wellington.
Program it any way you want to.
It's just amazing, man. You know, it's also worrisome at the same time because a lot of careers are in jeopardy now when these robots can do such a great job. And all you do is, I guess, how long do you have to plug them in, or how long does like one of these robots go without a charge, and how long does it take to charge them?
Coach Pete, oh man, I'm shaking my head now. No, they decide when they need to be charged based on what they see the workload to be, and they take the break, if you will, and go charge themselves.
Wow. Okay.
Now, do they need to do a fast charge, or can they shut down for the night because you're not going to need them for the next 4 to 6 to 12 hours?
So if they charge too fast, does it become a smoking break?
Smoking break.
It's well good. That's a good one. I like that.
Well, man, we're going down all sorts of rabbit holes here with all this stuff. It's amazing. It really is amazing. We're in a amazing time of basically history when you think about it. It's, I mean, gosh, they'll talk about this like they did the Roman ages 3,000 years from now, I think, if we're still around.
I agree.
Being able to have more facial emotions with the eyes, the mouth, being able to have more facial emotions with the eyes, the mouth, everything. And, they've gotten to the point where if you just do a quick glance and passing, you won't know that it's a robot. They're that good.
But remember, there was a movie probably about 25 or 30 years ago. Michael Keaton. It was Duplicity or something, where he invented like 5 or 6 robots that looked just like him. So basically, he just sat home and he sent them out to work and do all the hard stuff, and he took all the credit, made all the money. And then the robots started getting mad at him, though. They started getting smart on him. You remember that movie?
Ganging up on him. Yep.
What if we could just invent a bunch of Coach Pete's and send them out all over the place?
I only have one question.
Yes,
Is the
sir.
world ready for that?
Welcome on in. This is Women and Money. Jackie Selby, I have the beautiful Jana Asplund and Amanda Daughtry. Hey, hey, hey. And of course, the one and the only Coach.
Burden and responsibility to planning for money to the other spouse a lot of times. Not the best thing, because we need to know what's going on.
So true.
If you watch this series, and we've got some handouts for you too. If you like it, well, there's numbers on the screen. You can get more information. But if you can watch this series and have a pretty good mastery of what we're talking about, you'll be all set in retirement. Or on the way to or through life, but you'll have a good retirement too.
Sure.
Yep.
And I think this is a fun representation of generational ladies here. We have, maybe, is it okay to say Amanda might be the youngest gal?
No, I'm 40.
Okay. Maybe I messed this up.
No,
Janice in the middle.
Jana's in the middle.
And then I'm the elder gal here on the
and
set.
I'm not mentioning anything about any ages right here now. I'll keep myself out of trouble.
Like,
Coach Pete
no,
knows how
we're
to
not
stay out of
doing
trouble.
this. But I feel like we're at different stages in our
We are.
lives. Don't you feel like?
We definitely are. It was so funny when you said we started. I was in the conversation, the original one, 6 years ago. And 6 years ago, I was still in my 30s. So that'll give you a hint. But also, I had a 2-year-old.
Yep.
And so as you were talking, I was like, oh my gosh, just personally, how much has changed for me in 6 years? 6 years, I didn't pay as much attention to what you were saying because I was in the throes of it like you are. I was in the trenches. Every day was hard, and I was just trying to get through it because I had 2 little kids and a full-time job. It's still hard. I'm not quite in the trenches. But today, I have probably way different questions than I would have had 6 years ago.
Well, look at this. Between 2018 and 2023, women's wealth has risen 51%. That's from a survey by McKinsey. So that's, well, global wealth only rose 43%. So women are out wealthying. Is that a word?
Yeah, out earning.
But unfortunately, we're trusting the wrong people to make the decisions or to be the decision maker. So it's okay to have somebody in the family be the decision maker, but everyone in the family needs to know what's going on.
Yeah, and women are generally the caregiver, let's be honest. And we're also planning for the future for, let's say, my grandparents or my dad, or where are they going to live? Are they going to live with us? And so now we have go out of the little kid stage, which I'm in right now because I have a 3-year-old, and then I'm going into my dad's going into a rest home type stage. So it's like, boom, it all just continuously hits you. So how do we stay disciplined in this type of environment to continue to save?
Yeah.
Do you find it interesting when folks come to meet at Capitol that it's maybe just the man who kind of takes the lead and the woman fades to the background on the decisions or the explanation?
That happens more than it should. And then later on, sometimes the lady may have questions, but they're overlooked by the man sometimes. And he said, it's okay, we're going to be fine. I want to make sure both spouses are fine before we go forward and I sign it off on a plan. Because if it doesn't make sense to one, it shouldn't make sense to either.
Well, it's a lot of information. And like Amanda said, we're used to thinking about other things as women. So,
Well, part one is you need to find somebody you can trust and work with. And
that's for sure.
Whether it be a man or a woman or a team of people. We have a team here. We have men and women on our team. But and so we don't tell someone you can't meet. If you want to meet with a woman only, we can set you up with a woman only to meet with. I just think it's better to get everyone's perspective. We do a team philosophy here, so you'll meet with one person or a team of people, but then the whole team gets together and works on your plan.
Sure. Team and a plan.
Yeah, because so we do team here, so it's hard for me to understand. Like you said, when the man and woman will come in and the man asks all the questions and basically the woman feels like she's not even allowed to talk. That shouldn't be that way.
Annoying.
Because as a man, you see that.
All the time.
As a man, I know you guys are gonna outlive us.
Yeah.
And my wife is 7 years younger than me, and usually you guys outlive us by 7 years. So my wife has a pretty good deck of cards in her hand.
Well, especially when you're bringing a significant paycheck to the table.
Yes.
It's kind of like, where's my voice? I want to be heard. How are we investing? I want to diversify. I want to put my funds in different places. And the man's like, no, we should do this. So I think that when you have someone like you in place, someone like a Capital Financial Advisor Group, to sit down and say, hey, this is really the smartest thing to do. This is really the smartest thing to do. And that kind of takes the tension out of all of the planning, I think.
The best plan is one where you have a coach who's laid out the big game plan. So I'm the financial coach, lay out the big game plan, but you're the quarterback. And you have 2 quarterbacks. You have the male and the female, the husband and wife. And so you guys are the ultimate ones making the plays.
Yeah.
I've helped you design the playbook. It's up to you to run them the right way. And unfortunately, a lot of times, the man takes over.
Because I don't want to look dumb. I am a feminist. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let me tell you from the guy's side why and I see it too. I see the bad side too. I see what happens. I see when the guy just concentrates all on the guy, like the guys are just having chit-chatting about fishing and all that and golf.
Right. And here
they're
we are.
basically not paying attention to the woman. The other side says that
True.
if you are there with your husband, Eric, and I look at you too much, Eric might get mad at me. And so you might start thinking that I'm, trying to kick you
Never
under the table.
consider that.
So so that's what goes through my head because I don't want the husband thinking I'm hitting on his wife. In other words, so we have to be careful on that too. So as a guy, but I like to get both husband and wife involved, and I make sure to ask questions of both of them.
Yes.
And then when the husband answers, I say, well, how does that make you feel, Jana? And that's something that's overlooked a lot of times.
Sure.
How does it make you feel? And what do you want to feel in retirement? So these are all big questions that we have to factor in when we're putting together the proper plan.
You don't mind if we start a few questions here, Coach?
I love questions.
Okay, good. Does it surprise you that women are surpassing in the wealth area?
I hope not many guys are watching. No, it doesn't surprise me at all. Women are very smart when it comes to money, and matter of fact, make better decisions than men many times. There's my man card.
Right. Uh-oh. You better turn it in.
No, women are on top of things a lot of times and want to learn, but a lot of times they're sheltered from it and not by their choice. Jana, in your life, I mean, now you're busy. You're both you guys are busy women.
So
like all
busy.
three, you're busy working women. Back in the day, my mom took some time off from work back when she had three boys. I was the first one, but then she had to go right back to work because you have to make money. And so, but she was more worried about bringing my brothers and I up and working than she was about having to manage the household. And my dad had a computer store and he was a college professor. So both of them were busy. And many times you felt like as a kid, we didn't have any money. It's because we didn't have much money. But my mom and dad made it, somehow got all three boys through college and succeeded. But lately, my dad's passed away now, but luckily I've been able to help mom navigate and the situation. And I had a book called The Little Green Book of Life, and and it's 100 pages of interactive questions and answers, so you can write down where your life insurance is, where your money is, where your passwords are, your obituary. And Dad did fill some of that out, so it made it a whole lot easier. So if you'd like to get a copy of that Little Green Book of Life, it's on Amazon. Just look up Little Green Book of Life on Amazon.
I've given it to everybody in my family.
Yes.
The thing I like about it is, ladies, we are going to inherit a whole bunch of money from our parents.
Yes,
Are we?
Yes.
Hopefully.
And you know how Coach Pete was talking about his wife is 7 years younger, right? So maybe you might pass first. We don't know. But anyway, so she's going to get his money. And then she's going to distribute that money to the children. So think about the impact of that.
Generational wealth.
And I have life insurance that's going to give her tax-free money, too, to do stuff with. So tax-free, that means get out of the picture, Uncle Sam. You're not invited to this party.
You have to call Coach Pete for this.
But
This is amazing.
Step into my office.
A lot of people might be changing their mind on how they're going to plan in the long term because of that. They're thinking down the line, like, I might inherit my husband's parents' home, or he might inherit this, or we might. So how does that impact how we plan long term? And I think if women start thinking about that earlier, that's the goal, is to get them to one up them, to raise them up, say, hey, you need to start thinking about this in your 20s and your 30s, and don't depend on other people that aren't doing it to give you advice on it. You got to depend on somebody like Coach.
Yeah, and a final point before we move on to the next segment.
Sure.
Because we're living longer. Men are living longer too, but women, you guys are living a long time.
Yeah.
We need to make sure we have income in retirement that's going to last the rest of our lifetime, not just for the first 10, 15, 20 years, but forever, because you could live to be 120. You could be living to 130, Jana. You never know. And so, but what if your money ran out at 83? What's happening then? So we set up guaranteed lifetime income plans. I'm a retirement income certified professional. RICP is the designation from the American College. I am trained to make sure people do not run out of money in retirement and have lifetime income that could increase, never decrease, all the way through their life. And check this out. When you start getting that income, let's say it's a husband starts getting the income and he passed away, you continue to get that same income all your life too. So it never goes away for both spouses. So
I'm talking
if you're
about.
curious about that, you see the number on the screen, give us a call. We'll set up a time where we can diagram out where you are today and see where we could be tomorrow for you, where you could have a worry-free tomorrow.
Great. That's the first step to take, and we will be right back with some psychology of money and a little bit more fun here on Women and Money.
Hey everybody, it's Coach Pete with Matt Scuderi. Matt, thanks for coming today, by the way, appearing here. We're going to go over 9 ways to protect your nest egg, which we have them golden eggs because every single portion of your portfolio, to me, should be treated as gold. What do you think, Matt? There's a lot of people making mistakes out there in the financial world, so we're going to do this very informal type seminar here in the form of a webinar. We call it info series, just to educate you on 9 things you need to be paying attention to. We've jotted down some notes here to make sure that we stay on track, and we're going to try to do this in 30 minutes or less for you, so it's not going to be a long one. If you have more advanced questions, you see the chat button there. It's always going to be available if you have a question for us. If you'd like to request a meeting because you're attending this info series, there's no fee or obligation if you'd like to have your questions answered or request a meeting with one of our professionals, either in person or on the phone or on Zoom. It's amazing what we can do these days.
Yeah.
I used to, back in the 90s, I'd get in my car and go to see people at their kitchen table. And so we're available for that too, by the way. Never had more fun than visiting people at their kitchen table and going over things. And I ate real good too, by the way. And sometimes I'd be there during dinner time. But number 1, And these are things we need to identify. Taxation.
Yes.
Protecting your retirement from tax burdens. Matt, you talk to folks every day. Are taxes a worry for folks?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the number one question just about every single time.
Yeah, especially when we talk about withdrawing money at retirement time, because that's when we figure out the real tax time bombs we have.
Oh, yeah.
Many people, many of you watching right now, probably have a lot of your money in 401ks, 403bs, TSAs, or tax sheltered annuities, or whatever, like different things out there. And some of them have more tax advantages than others. And then there's something called a Roth IRA. We're going to talk about a Roth later on here in this series. But just knowing what the taxation is going to be on your assets before you start taking it out, that's a good way to have a good plan. Because if you're not aware of the taxation, and how much you're going to lose for taxation, you get to retirement, you lose a lot of money, you don't have enough to pay the bills. Matt, very important to have over and above what we need for the bills, because we want to have fun during retirement. And one of the main reasons we can do that is to minimize taxation.
Absolutely. And I think, kind of to your point, is we want to make sure that we know exactly what the tax brackets are now.
Yep.
And always, of course, look into the future so we can plan accordingly.
We call that tax planning. So we look ahead. I mean, no one knows what the rules are going to be in the future,
Right.
but we know about what they're going to be. Like we know the Roth IRA builds tax-free and comes out tax-free. Very important, by the way.
Yes.
Many of you watching probably have never had the Roth correctly explained to you, because that's why you don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that say, I wish I would have known about the Roth.
Yes.
Well, the Roth has been around since the turn of the, well, I call it the turn of the century now, right before the year 2000. So it hadn't been around that long, but it's been around over almost 25 years now. So why haven't the financial institutions done a better job explaining that to folks?
You know, they just recently started allowing it to be an option in 401ks.
Yeah, very important. So if you have a 401k, make sure you take advantage of your Roth option in there for some of your money. Now, here's why people don't like the Roth.
Yeah.
Put the money in, you don't get a tax write-off.
Right.
We put money in our 401k, our traditional 401k, or 403b, or even IRA at the bank. We like to be able to deduct that money from our taxable income that year.
Yes.
But the problem is, once you do that, you're creating a tax time bomb. We're going to talk about that later on today, too. So we need to diffuse that tax time bomb and divide our money into proper places, and we can help you with that. All you have to do, though, is if you have a question, let us know. But very important, though, to pay attention to what the Roth IRA is, what it could do for you, and there's some other tax-advantaged vehicles out there in the financial world. If your advisor has not explained these to you in detail, you really need to have a thorough review to make sure you're in the right place. Best time to find out you're in the wrong place is today.
Yes.
Better time is yesterday, but tomorrow. There's no such thing as a bad time to get the right plan. Just make sure of that, okay? Number two, treasure hunters, we call this. This is safeguarding your retirement assets for what happens when you're not going to be here anymore. So we all want to leave our assets to our children or grandchildren, want to make sure they get left in the right way, want to make sure what we leave to them actually gets to them. Matt, what happens in between when people die sometimes and the money passing on? Some bad things do happen, don't they?
Yes, it can just get tied up, and now that's just causing headaches for your family.
Yeah, or you could get sued. So, a delivery man could be coming up your stairs at your house, fall down, sues you because you're in a nice house, maybe not even a nice house. They just sue you because they want to sue you, and they take all your assets. They find out you have some retirement money. They can sometimes get to your retirement money. So you need an umbrella policy. So make sure you talk to your insurance agent who sells you your car insurance and your home insurance, and make sure that you say, how much is an umbrella policy for $1 or $2 or $3 million? What an umbrella policy does, if somebody sues you, the umbrella policy will kick in and protect you. Do not tell anyone if you have an umbrella policy, because they will sue you to that amount. So be very careful on that. But umbrella policy is very important. Utilizing the proper insurance. Also, having proper life insurance in place can give a tax-free asset to your children and grandchildren that you don't have to worry about, that's not going to be lost in the stock market. If, like, let's say we have a market crash a couple years before you pass away, and half your money disappears and then you die.
Right.
Well, if you would have a life insurance policy, it would help make up for those losses in a tax-free manner.
Yeah.
How many questions do you think you get a week about life insurance? Probably not enough.
Not too many, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think it's mainly because most people don't realize the certain tax-free aspects of it.
Oh, man, it's amazing. Now, if we go over $10 million or more in life insurance, we need a special life insurance trust called an ILIT.
Right.
But for most of the folks watching this,
Yeah.
$5 million, $6 million, $7 million, very, very affordable. And we're going to tell you later on how the new life insurance policies get you use a death benefit while you're here to pay for your long-term care stay. So stay tuned for that. That's very important.
Yep.
But if you have any questions about life insurance, about tax-free passing of assets, how to make sure you have that proper division of your money and in between taxable and tax-free and tax-deferred assets, and what are those three qualifications? A lot of folks don't understand taxable, tax-deferred, tax-free. We'll go through all three of those for you if you would like to do that in person. customized to your own portfolio, because it's one thing for us to talk about it here.
Yeah.
It's another thing for people to really see it with their own eyes. So very important to make sure you understand there are people. Here's another thing. I've had people for nursing home protection. They've met with certain people who have advised them to delist all their assets and list them in their children's name instead, or their grandchildren's name. So you say, well, then you can qualify for Medicaid because you don't have any assets anymore. The problem is you have a lot of money, you've retitled it into your children's and grandchildren. Now the government knows you do this too, so they have a look back. It said, so if you do it within 5 years, they'll find it. But let's say you do it, and you're not worried about the government finding out or whatever, and you leave your assets to your daughter. And your daughter is getting ready to get married, and then she gets married, and then they get a divorce. She gets half. She gets all your money, but the spouse, which is the former spouse, takes half your money and leaves. Let's say that your daughter gets in a wreck, rear ends somebody. It's all her fault. She was on her cell phone or whatever. Maybe she'd been drinking or whatever. So big lawsuits happen. Yeah. And she gets sued for all the money that you gave her retitled in her name that's really your money. She loses all that money. So there's a lot of drawbacks to retitling assets. Be very careful on that. You've heard probably these stories too, right?
Oh, yeah. All time.
Yeah. Number 3 now, we're going to move right into nursing home disasters and make sure that we plan ahead for this. Because we're going to have a graphic here, Matt. Let's look at this graphic right here on screen. The annual cost of nursing homes has gone way up. So look at how far it's gone up. So back in 2014, now this is for a semi-private room, about $75,000 a year. Now, to me, I've worked all my life. Now I have to go to a nursing home. Do I want to be a roommate again? I had a roommate in college. I didn't really like that too much. But look, now we're way over $100,000 for a semi-private room, and that's per year. So what I advise is look at long-term care insurance. Now, I've been licensed to offer long-term care insurance for about 30 years. 30 years. Guess how many long-term care policies I've written in 30 years?
Not enough.
0. Not a single one. You know why? A lot of people say, Coach, I need long-term care. I said, yeah, but let's look at this contract. The contract can go away once you need it. They can raise your rates and kick you out right when you need it. So you pay all these years and they take the money, they take the policy away because you can't afford it anymore. So the only way that I've advised, and I've done a lot of these, I've done one for myself, is to get a special life insurance policy that lets you use a death benefit while you're here. It's called a living benefit rider. They add it on your policy. Many times, folks, it doesn't cost you any more if you have a current policy right now and it doesn't have that on there. You can get the brand new policy without it costing you a penny, because life insurance rates have gone down over the years. So you can get a better policy many times that has the long-term care option, where you can use the money from the long-term care policy to pay for that long-term care. I mean, how good is that? That takes a peace of mind away, and life insurance never goes away. It's one of the only products known to man, to me, that does what it says. If you die, it pays your death benefit to your folks, tax-free. Tax-free, big thing. If you're living, it gives you some of the death benefit to pay for your long-term care stay, tax-free. And so it doesn't put you in a tax situation.
If you also end up not needing the long-term care coverage, you still have the ability to reach in and grab more.
Yeah, it turns into life insurance. And you also can live on some of it. If you set it up correctly, you can have a tax-free retirement account. We can show you how to do that too. So there's no better product than a life insurance product. But there's so many different companies, and many of them aren't good. So make sure before you get one of these, you make sure you get the best. These are A+ rated companies. Don't go for these B companies, folks. Our policy here at our company, we never recommend anything below A-. We want to make sure the company's there when you need it the most. This is the best known solution to the long-term care dilemma that I know. All right, so very important to make sure that you understand exactly what's going on in the financial world, and when we have new policies like this life insurance policy. Matt, back in the day, life insurance was a lot more expensive than it is today, because we're living longer and they've adjusted the rates downward. So you may be in a policy now that not only does it not have that long-term care protection, but it's costing you more than it should.
Too much.
So let's at least analyze, do a review. I've met with so many people over the years who bring their policies in that didn't really understand what they had. Had one person thought they had a permanent policy, it was a term policy. So if you have a term policy, it'll pay a death benefit within a certain term. It's not a bad thing. It's affordable. It doesn't cost much, but you're only renting the insurance. Because at the end of the period, you have to requalify many times, and you have to pay more premium because you're getting older, and insurance companies know the older you get, closer you are to not being here anymore. So again, get a permanent policy as early as possible. I mean, at your age, Matt, it's probably very, very cheap.
Yes.
I'm 58. It's a little bit more expensive, but you know, the best equity you have when we're talking about life insurance is your health. You may not be able to qualify tomorrow if something happens. So that's why we want to get it. and put it away and forget about it, because it's there for you when you need it the most.
Yeah.
You can also borrow against your life insurance policy's cash value down the road, but we don't encourage that unless you really need it. But there are a lot of great strategies out there. Well, you can be your own banker, basically. But make sure you get the right policy, folks. If you have a question about that, or if you'd like to get a quote, or see what it could mean for you and your family, to take that worry out of not only living through retirement, but living with the health scares now. You don't worry. If you have to go to a long-term care policy, you can pick a better long-term care facility. You can pick the best place, because now you have almost unlimited cash flow when you think about it from some of these policies. So find out about that. Very, very important.
Coach, we've got some questions from listeners. We're going to spring them on you. I hope it's okay.
Oh, question. Okay, good. Awesome. Oh, and by the way, all you have to do to have that question answered is to see that chat button there on the screen. Type your question in. You can put your name if you want, if you don't have to, and we'll answer it for you.
This one's interesting. They say they have a lot of assets but no retirement income. Say they're a little bit worried about that. What could they do?
So a lot of assets. See this a lot, but no income.
Yeah.
Because the 401k, the 403b, most of them I've seen don't show you what you could get income-wise from that policy or for that amount you built up, and it sure doesn't show you that it could be guaranteed for the rest of your life.
Right.
So there are ways to have proper income planning done. You've done a great job building that money up. Let's make sure you don't lose it, number one, from a market catastrophe. But number two, once we get to retirement, Matt, let's make sure we know with certainty what we can take out per year and never run out of money.
Right.
When I say never, I mean you have 100% certainty of never running out of money.
Absolutely.
When we do the Wall Street models, there's something called the Monte Carlo simulation. It basically says you've got all this money in the stock market, leave it there, so we can keep making fees on you, basically.
Yeah.
Leave it there, and then you can start taking out a certain percent, sometimes they say 4% of this money each year, and you've got about a 92% chance of not outliving that money. Now, Matt, what's the zinger in that whole phrase? 92%. It has to be 100%, folks, or we, as a fiduciary planning firm, we can't recommend it.
Right.
So that isn't the proper strategy. The proper strategy is to pare some of that money away from the market, put it into we call it a GPI account. You put it in an account that's going to grow. It's going to protect that growth. So when you have growth, it locks into growth. And then whenever you choose, it'll give you a lifetime income you can never outlive from that balance. And some of these numbers, the withdrawal rates are 6, 7% compared to Wall Street model at 4%. And the 6 or 7% is guaranteed never to go away. Yeah. And here's another thing, for both spouses.
Yeah.
You could have an IRA, which is an individual retirement account, and you could have your spouse on there. So if you pass away, the spouse continues to get that income.
Yeah.
It's a magical thing, folks. You have to see it to believe it. So make sure, and a lot of the professors I've had on my show, my radio show, so it's pretty cool. But it works for you folks, and the magic thing is to put you in control of your retirement. And that's what happens. It gives you a peace of mind now. You're not dependent on the stock market. We leave some money in the stock market, so you've got your income plan over here. You've got your stock account over here. As it shrinks in size, it shrinks in buying power too. But look at what we're talking about. This is $100,000 right here. But look at what we're talking about. This is $100,000 right here. And what's happened over the last 20 years is the $100,000 purchasing power is now about $50,000, Matt. So you've lost half your money without doing anything bad. This is where you just had it. Maybe your money wasn't keeping up with inflation because we've had a high inflation rate lately. We always aim for at least 3 or 4% return per year to combat the normal inflation, but you have to have accelerated inflation coverage too. We saw 7, 8, 9% inflation.
It's a silent killer.
Yeah. And so then we have something called shrinkflation. That's where they shrink the size of the item you're buying, but they raise the price. The double whammy in the wrong direction. So again, what can we do to combat this? Well, number one, we need to make sure we don't lose any money. Number two, and when I say not losing money, I'm not just talking about the stock market. We're going to talk about this in a minute. I'm talking about financial termites. And that's risk, fees, and commissions you don't need to be paying. You may be in an account where the person who put you in there is making a lot of money every single quarter on you, and you're not making anything, or you're not hardly making anything, or you're not keeping up with inflation. Get with us for a true inflation-protected plan. If you'd like to get an example, again, based on your numbers, which I always recommend, in your income plan, you see the chat box there, just request it. We'll be more than happy to go over that with you. Okay, so inflation, not a fun thing, but we need to talk about it. We need to address it. Kind of boring topic for a while, but it's not too boring anymore when we talk about going to the store. You know, I rile people up sometimes, say, well, you know, you remember going to the grocery store 5 years ago? What did it cost you? Because we usually get the same things when we go to the store. We might add a couple junk food things we don't get every time. But you always get the milk, the bread, those kind of things. The vegetables, avocados, they've doubled in price the last 5 years. I love avocado. I eat avocados like apples. So it's we see it. You see it. Everyone sees it. So what do we do about it? Certain trusts. If you meet with attorneys, we have attorneys we recommend. They can put together a plan. I like to say nothing's 100% bulletproof, though.
Right.
if something goes wrong, but it gives you a lot more protection if you have the proper legal documents. Another thing is beneficiary designations.
Yes.
So let's say that maybe you fall out of favor with one of your children and you leave them as a beneficiary, or maybe they get married to somebody you don't like or whatever, and you leave them a beneficiary, and you pass away, and your children get the money, and the other spouse that's leaving the family, they take half with them. So there's a lot of stuff we need to set things up correctly. You can do this in special trusts or beneficiary designations.
Yeah, and I was talking to someone the other day. They had their 3 kids on there, and he was like, that one hasn't talked to me in 20 years. So I was just like, we got to get that fixed.
So review your designations, your beneficiary designations each and every year. I know it seems tedious, but sometimes we forget. We've heard stories before where someone did get a divorce and they never adjusted their beneficiary designations, and then they got remarried and they still had the old spouse as a beneficiary on your life insurance. And it's hard, very hard, to get that reversed if you're passed away.
Yes.
So your ex-spouse could benefit. So another thing is TOD and POD on your accounts. Transfer on death, TOD, is for brokerage accounts. That's sort of a beneficiary designation. POD, payable on death, your bank accounts, your CDs. This will bypass probate, and that'll save you some time and heartache in the future if you do that. Yeah. And so that leads into our 6th point here is probate. And so those TOD and POD, very, very important to make sure that, probate's a process. It means when you pass away. Now, if you pass away, if your spouse passed away and you're still here, there's no probate process. Everything that's in your name is yours. If you're jointly listed, you control that jointly. So,
hey, Coach, here's an RMD question.
If you want.
Yeah.
Just make sure you have an advisor who understands, and we have a battle plan put together, because if you try to do it yourself, you might forget. Maybe you're only taking the requirement of distributions out of one of your accounts and you forget about 2 others. You know what the penalty is if you fail to take it? 50% of what you're supposed to take. 50% penalty by, I really blame advisors for this many times, because they need to have an open conversation and dialogue with you every single year about where your IRAs are, and make sure you have paid those minimum required distributions by December 31st.
Yes.
You seen anything that you want to add to that, Matt? It's like it's kind of crazy, isn't it?
I would be curious to know why she has 3 separate IRAs.
Yeah, a lot of times we recommend that you roll all these IRAs together in one super IRA and then have an income plan attached to that. So now you not only have that money in a safe place, but now you have lifetime income you can never outlive. And then we can show you how to take the money out for the MRDs. A lot of people tell me they don't even need the money, but they're made to take the money out. So we've had strategies before where we turn the tables on the government. They make you take money out of your IRAs because you have to pay tax on it. Then take that money and buy a life insurance policy that will give a big number tax-free to your next of kin, and give you that long-term care protection too. So now you're utilizing that money for something besides just blowing it on something. Well, I got money, let me go blow it somewhere. But I always encourage you to have fun with some of your retirement money, because that's why you put the money away. Right? And I had a client once tell me he started flying first class right before retirement. I said, "You're moving on up like George Jefferson." He said, "Coach, if I don't spend it, my daughter will." So, enjoy your life. That's what we're here. Stock market. Mitigating market risks in your retirement portfolio. Now, it's fun to be in the market when we're putting new money in and we're working at a company and we've got plenty of money coming in and we can take the ups and downs of the market. But when we retire, we don't need these ups and downs anymore, because we may be dependent on that money in the market for lifetime income. You don't want your income to go, the market went the wrong way. It's fun when it goes up. Market went the wrong way. It's fun when it goes up.
Yeah.
What we call the standard deviation. Based on the risk you're taking right now, what kind of growth could you get with that risk? But more importantly, what kind of loss could you have if the market went the wrong way? And so let's say if you have $1 million portfolio and the market goes up 40%. Well, now you have $1.4 million on the good side, but let's say it went down 40%. Now you have $600,000. Are you willing to lose $400,000 of your $1 million retirement just by having your money in the wrong place? You've already got to the finish line. You're right there. You're getting ready to win, and instead you turn around and run the other way.
Yeah.
Seen this in football sometimes. The guy scoops up a fumble and he runs the wrong way. We can't have that happen with money we can't afford to lose. So that's just very important. So if you want to have your own lifetime income plan put together, make sure you understand all the little things that go on behind the scenes, and make sure to put you and your family in control and give you that freedom you deserve. Just hit that chat button over there and ask us a question or request a consultation with the team, and it's non-threatening. We'll just ask you what you want to do in retirement, ask you what you have put aside, where it is, and then we'll design a plan that meets what you said you want instead of what the broker wanted to sell you.
Yeah.
It's a novel concept these days. All right, so that's the stance many times, because you've used that 403B, which, by the way, 1992, my first year in the financial world, and from 92 all the way to 2000, I worked with teachers exclusively, helping them start their 403B programs, which was sort of like a 401k, able to build it with a tax-free dollar. And I had a lot of teachers retire early because of that. They put money away tax-free. And so then I said, well, I got to learn about this retirement thing. So then I specialized in retirement since the year 2000. But it just makes sense now to consolidate into a place that gives you lifetime income and or a Roth. You can do a Roth and have lifetime income too. The beauty of that is that income is now tax-free.
Right.
Matt, tax-free is a great phrase in retirement.
It's awesome, and it makes our job a lot easier as well.
It does. All right, now, this is the one that I'm ashamed of in this industry here. The financial industry and arena has so many we call them brokers behaving badly. Unscrupulous folks, doing the wrong thing, doing what's great for them and not for you and your family. So we want to identify conflicts in the broker world out there. You know, we call them financial termites. Have they loaded your accounts up with too many risk fees? This is where a broker's churning away. You're losing money over the years because you can't keep up. Your return can't keep up with the fee. Your return can't keep up with the fees that are coming out. And by the way, every time they take a fee out of your account or any kind of money that goes out of your account, that's money you don't have there the next year building interest. Right. So that's a compounding effect in the wrong direction. We can eliminate these. We can do these every single day. Call me a financial exterminator sometimes. We need to get rid of this, and we can help you. Many times, Matt, tell the folks, it's hard to see that on a statement, isn't it? They can hide the churning many times.
Yeah, absolutely. They stuff it near the back or sometimes very small fine print. So.
Yeah. So here's a question. When's the last time you had a professional review your portfolio? Not a salesperson, but a professional, a true professional, and not somebody who's not licensed in the financial world. Oh, yeah, my brother-in-law who's a mechanic said my portfolio is great. All right, well, what's his or her qualifications, right? So we need to make sure we get a quality plan. I write about that in my book, the big book on retirement. You see it right next to me over here. We've got a camera angle right there, big book on retirement. There's a lot of specialized planning that needs to be done, but it doesn't have to be complex. A lot of time, and we don't need big words in the financial world. I see a lot of big words, sort of like the back of a Red Bull. You ever drank a Red Bull? Think with that one. That's a pretty good question. If you think with that one, that's a pretty good question.
If you want to be conservative, I would go on the low end, maybe 5-6%.
Yep.
But I think the better way to look at it is maybe see how much you need to mark your standard of living and kind of back engineer from there, because you may already be there.
Yeah, and they may, I didn't hear the word income in there at all, so I don't think they have an income plan. So looking at the balance you have right now, if we can look at what kind of income we could get from certain parts of that balance, we'll show you how much income from the whole balance, and then we'll 50% of balance, 40%, 80%, whatever, and then you choose what kind of income you'd want. And this is lifetime guaranteed income. This isn't games and gimmicks. This is in writing, the guaranteed minimum. Could always be more, not less. The problem with the stock market model, it could always be more, but it could also be less. We want something that zero is the worst we can do per year. We want to make sure we have lifetime income from that. So I think if we, like you said, if we reverse engineer into looking at where you are with your money now, what the balance is, and where your fiduciary planning organization. Now, what does a fiduciary mean? It means we always have to put your needs above our needs. We cannot take commissions out of your money. Very important. There's a lot of people every quarter you're seeing commissions disappear out of your money. Now, if you're dealing with a money management fee, they have a quarterly management fee. That's a little different. That is not included in the fiduciary law because that is a disclosed fee that's coming out, a management fee they call it. But commissions should not be coming out of your money. We are compensated by financial institutions out of their money, not your money. Very important distinguishing remark right there, because a lot of folks don't understand that, and they're letting someone milk them. And I always say, whose retirement are you funding, yours or your broker's? So make sure you understand what's going out. And a lot of the fees are not disclosed readily, so we can do that analysis, an x-ray of your portfolio to put you in a better place. And when we get in a better place, when we can see lifetime income, the worry eases away, the confusion's gone. We never want to be confused. You need to always understand. You should be meeting with your advisor at least once a year to understand that roadmap you're on and make sure you're hitting the proper waypoints, we call it. And if not, make adjustments to get you on the right track. We spend a lot of our time, I call myself a financial janitor sometimes. We spend a lot of our time cleaning up messes created by other financial professionals.
Yeah.
You don't have the proper life insurance policy. Maybe you've never heard of the life insurance that has the long-term care, that'll pay for long-term care out of your death benefit. If you haven't heard about that, you really need to hear about that. A lot of people don't know you could have guaranteed lifetime income based on the money you already have put aside.
Yeah.
You may not even have to, you could retire, you may be able to retire yesterday because you have enough money, and you may be thinking you have to work 5 more years.
Yeah.
So let's get the money allocated in the right place. Let's get a plan put together to make sense for you and your family. Let's give you that financial freedom you deserve. Matt, we make available now through the chat box. Request an appointment if you'd like to have your own plan put together. We call it a total retirement plan. About 22 steps behind the scenes we do to take all the confusion and worry out of the financial world for you and your family. Matt, thanks for your time today.
Thanks, Coach.
Look for more exciting webinars like this from the Retirement Countdown series. We'll see you soon.
That's cool. What could happen, right?
Hey, I'm Coach Pete D'Arruda, president of Capital Financial. Folks, the financial world is very, very confusing. That's why we put together a series of educational videos called webinars. You can see them at any time by signing up at CoachPete.com. We'll see you there.
So, you know, people use the traditional 4% rule, taking money out of a diversified portfolio. What are some of the risks with that?
The 4% says you can take 4% of your balance out each year, supposedly, and be okay. You have about a 92% chance of not outliving the money. But Tommy, if I got on a plane and the pilot said, hey, everybody, we're getting ready to go to New York City today, we've got about a 92% chance of landing safely. I'd be that guy. A couple of years ago, the flight attendant freaked out, pulled the chute, and grabbed a six-pack and went down the side. That would be me. Because, I mean, I need 100%. When we're talking about money, there's no excuse not to have 100% safety and security for money we need for a future.
Yeah, especially with the mortality credits of some of these guaranteed lifetime income annuities. They can pay out huge payout rates that you can't get from bonds or
Well, and then you won't run out of the money. And so we've seen 6 and 7% payout rates compared to that 4%, and the 6 and 7 are 100% guaranteed to always be there.
Yeah, and people who are in their 70s and 80s can get 8, 9, 10, 11, 12%.
Dead and financial fill-up strategies right there.
The older you are, the higher the guaranteed payout.
Exactly.
Welcome into our series, Tax Savvy Retirement. That is the latest.
Now, but also how to minimize that going forward. The tax planning, looking ahead to protect your behind for the tax man. And so, we broke it down pretty simple in this book. It's over 200 pages.
Yes.
You received it?
To take his 401k out because he wanted to roll it over to another company, and he didn't do it in the right amount of time, and suffered one of the big things we discuss in this book, which is a big old penalty.
You know, Bruce brought that up to us during a radio show. He said, I have a friend.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a friend.
You hope it's a friend, right?
And he told us what happened, but he told us way later than he should have. I mean, his friend should have told us before he did it. We could have given some free advice here of things not to do. He did exactly what he shouldn't have done, but he didn't know any better.
There you go.
And that happens a lot of times. But you have 60 days when you take money out of an IRA to put it back into a different IRA or put it back into that same IRA. But he took that money home and didn't put it anywhere for like 90 days. And right away, he was young too, by the way, so he owed a 10% penalty on the money. You take money out of an IRA before 59, it's a 10% penalty. You don't get that back. Plus, all that money becomes taxable, and you have to pay tax on that. So he whammied himself. It cost about 40% of that money disappeared in taxes and penalties.
Wow, incredible.
Yeah.
We have got 245 pages of content to discuss that can help you mitigate things like this, prevent them from happening, start asking the right questions. So folks, stay tuned. But I do want to let you know, maybe you're having a hard time getting through the book. Maybe you're someone like me who drives a whole lot. The audio book is available at CoachPete.com. Freely available. Just head over and you can download your copy of it. But even more than that, if you already know that taxes are an issue, you know that you need to get a handle on them, and you want to talk to Coach Pete's fiduciary team just to get that aligned with your goals and your plan in retirement, the time to act is now. We're going to make this opportunity available at the end of every video, but call in, set up that discussion with one of his fiduciary planners so that you can be on the right track for this really beautiful time of life.
Let me give you a life hack here. Download the audio at CoachPete.com. Look for the Tax Savvy Retirement audio.
Yeah.
Play it while you're looking through the book.
That's good, yeah.
It really helps you remember things more when you have somebody reading it to you, but you see that we've got a lot of diagrams in the book too, and so it helps you understand a lot better. And you can take notes in the book with a pen. Make notes in the book. This is your book, folks. You don't have to, remember we weren't allowed to write in our books back in the day. You get in trouble with your parents. You can write in this book. It's your book. It should be a reference book, not a book that just sits on the bookshelf. So have fun, and look forward to seeing you every single week with a different chapter summary as we go forward.
Love it.
This big game, every move counts. Plan wisely to win the match. Sidestep the unexpected and charge towards your goal. Navigate through the challenges. Retirement is your end zone, and the touchdown is within reach. A successful retirement is your championship. Let Coach Pete design your customized income game plan today.
Not all cryptocurrency is like a meme coin. There are some functional coins, like we said, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, which is Ripple, Nano. These are transactional coins. These help you move assets from you to somebody else in exchange for something.
There you go.
And so you really have a value. They have a value just like our US dollar does. And so it's acceptable currency. Whereas, what are you going to buy with fart coins?
Right.
It's true. Or the Hot Tua coin, or this is the Trump coin. And,
There's all the different
they do
ones,
a name and then they pump it up. It is like the penny stocks.
It is.
With no value. It's sort of like that movie, The Wolf of Wall Street. They were selling junk. That's junk too.
I want to start with REITs because there may be a lot of people out there who don't even know what a REIT is. So a real estate investment trust.
It's a group of investors get together with a manager who can't buy a skyscraper individually, but they pool investors' money together and buy big things like that, shopping centers. So that's what they use to show you how great it is in these very glossy brochures, and they do dinner seminars too for non-traded REITs. So let's do a non-traded REIT first. A non-traded REIT is it's not listed on the stock exchange yet, so it's not traded. So you put money in, the only way you can get it out, the money out, is if that becomes a tradable REIT. Now, they sell it on income. They say, hey, we're going to get income as long as we have 90 or 95% occupancy of our shopping center, everything's going to be fine, or you're going to get a great return. What's happened the last few years? Do people go into work a lot? How many of them are sitting with maybe 50% occupancy? Now it's not making enough money to even pay the bills. The building, like the non-traded REIT people are on the hook for the big mortgage payment for these big skyscrapers. So then what happens is they are forced into bankruptcy, these non-traded REITs. Now, I want to get to that. Let's put a pause button here. Let me tell you what a traded REIT is. You can look up traded REITs on the internet, and these are basically symbols that you see in the stock market. You can buy for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. This follows a period of significant instability starting in July 2025, which includes suspension of distributions. All investors' distributions and new offerings were halted in 2025 of July. So if you had a broker pushing it to you and they sold it to you after July, there's some really bad stuff going there. But SEC investigation right now is underway, and legal action, numerous lawsuits and FINRA arbitration claims have been filed by investors alleging misrepresentation, unsuitability, and breach of fiduciary duty due to the high fee structure and then the loss of principal that happened after that. So these were sold, Thomas, of principal that happened after that. So these were sold, Thomas, the people that I've talked to that got led down this path, they were sold as a safe investment. There's nothing safe about a non-traded REIT. We're not going to spend the whole show going through this, but if you have a non-traded REIT and you want to have somebody in addition to, and I've always said if an investment has to be sold, to you, you don't need it. You should want something. Like when we meet with folks, they want lifetime income they can never outlive. They want insured guarantees. That's why we offer those. Let's say that when you put in $1.2 million, so when you get your statements, he puts them in 4 or 5 different REITs. So you have to add the numbers up to your initial statement showing what you put in. And it comes back at $1,050,000 $50,000. Wait, you put $1,200,000 in. Now your balance shows $1,050,000. You've lost $150,000 just by putting the money in because guess what? Somebody reached in and took a bunch of commission out. Don't make that mistake. Stay away from non-traded REITs. It really, I'm going to use a word, it pisses me off that somebody's out there doing this, Thomas, because I mean, I picture what if your mom, what if that happened to your mom? What would you do? You'd want to find somebody. You'd want
I'd
that
be
explained.
furious.
And you can't claim ignorance as the person selling it because if you don't know what you're selling, you shouldn't be selling it to begin with. Period.
I agree.
Same thing with managed money. A lot of these managed money guys are selling mutual funds inside their managed wrapper, so they're charging you a management fee, and then the mutual fund company also charges you a management fee. Wouldn't you want to insure your income and not give it to these guys peddling these non-traded REITs? The only retirement you're insuring is your brokers when you give them that money because they're taking money right out of your money. I am really adamant and really ticked off about what I've seen this week, and this gals who are doing it, they should be ashamed of themselves. They should be ashamed of themselves, and they should get back onto the insured money methods and not offering these junk products that they're selling to people that are unsuspecting. And they get them with a little folksy attitude when they go in, and then they get screwed into the investments like this. So be very careful, folks. There's a lot of games and gimmicks out here, and it's all designed for the broker to make money instead of you. And I always say, whose retirement are you funding? Yours or your broker's? I can 100% confidently say we've helped every single person that I've ever met with in my life because we put them in lifetime income strategies. I am a retirement income certified professional. If you want a review of your portfolio, the best time to find out if you're in the wrong places right now, give me a call. For the next 10 of you, we'll sit down with you and go through Coach Pete's Power Plan, which talks about insured lifetime income and no games and gimmicks. And we are a fiduciary team because we stand behind everything we do, and we treat you just like we treat our own parents.
All right, you pretty much have a book for everything. So how do we find your books? Where do we find them at? Where can I get a copy of all of them?
Yeah, the beautiful thing is you can go to Amazon and pay for them, or you can go to CoachPete.com, and all our books, or most all my books, are there as a PDF. So you can download them. And then we have a video series that goes along with the books that I feel the important books we have that will go through each chapter and tell you why it's important to read them and what you're going to learn there. Sort of like a video cliff note version, Amanda, on the video series. So once you get the book, we're going to start sending you a new video every week on each chapter, chapter 1, 2, 3, and up to whenever it's done. And then we have a summary of the whole book. So this is a good way. That way the book just doesn't sit on the shelf. It gets put to use. And most of my books are great reference manuals, so you can do it yourself for your own retirement plan, or I can help you guide you the rest of the way.
How do you determine the topics that are going to be included in your financial books? Because you have, financial termites, you've got tax-savvy retirement. How many books do we have?
Well, I've got 20 books now. And so
the big book of retirement.
The big book on retirement, that's the biggest book. No, it's not. The Through the Years book is the biggest book. So we went from 1909 all the way to 2024 and told you relevant facts and the same facts like inflation, what the stock market was, what a car costs for each year. So it's fun to go back. I used to get these birthday cards and said, you were born in 1966. Here's what a loaf of bread costs. Here's what milk costs. Here's the famous car, the famous actors.
Yeah.
We do the same thing with the Through the Years book.
1985.
Okay.
And we've got cost of living, and I'm looking at 56 cents for bread, milk $2.26 a gallon, gold $327 an ounce.
Wow.
What is it now?
Over 5,000.
Oh,
right around there. It's crazy, isn't it?
Mortgage was 12% interest.
Well, yeah, those are hard. That's a big one there. But houses were a lot lower in price.
That's nuts. I'm looking at this gold number, and I'm wishing I would have invested in that.
Yeah, I wish you could, but you know, it bounces around, and it's good to have a little bit of gold at all times. It's good to have a good portfolio, a proper balance, and have that total retirement plan. The reason I write books is that people ask me questions, and I said, well, a lot of people ask the same question. It's time to write a book.
Okay.
So my big book on retirement shows you how to have lifetime income you can never outlive and design the right plan for the whole life for you and your spouse. So the next 10 people call, we'll put together for you your very own total retirement plan, and you'll get my book, the big book on retirement, when you come in.
And welcome back into our series on the Tax Savvy Retirement book by Coach Pete D'Arruda. I'm going to say one of your latest books at this point, because I'm sure by the time somebody might watch this, you could have another one out.
19 books now.
19.
So we've got to get a 20 out there, right?
We
You
have
stop
to.
at 20 at least.
We have to.
Maybe it'll be 30 by the time I get done. But
Yeah.
I keep saying it, this is going to be my last book, and then I say, well, there's so much other information that people need, especially when it relates to taxes in retirement and how to minimize taxes, how to understand taxes, and how to put taxes on your side instead of against you.
And that's what this chapter is all about, understanding the tax landscape in retirement. So let's take a deeper dive into this. What is kind of the point of this chapter, understanding the tax landscape, and what are some key takeaways?
Correct.
They did.
Stretch IRA said, hey, I've got an IRA here, a big amount, let's say, and I'm going to pass away, and I know I'm not going to use all that money, so let me leave that money to my, let's say, my granddaughter, who would be 10, maybe we'll say she's 10 years old when I die at 80, right?
Right, yeah.
And so she inherits my IRA, and now she doesn't have to pay tax on that. She inherits it, and then she has to take out just a small amount of money each year in that IRA, and it continues to grow for her lifetime. They took that away in the Secure Act. You can only do that for 10 years now. So when you die, your granddaughter can only get 10 years and bigger payments, which are more taxes. So that's what the government wants to make taxes. Again, the stretch IRA is not what it used to be. But again, there's some other ways out there to help you on taxation. So some life insurance policies sometimes make more sense because you can leave a tax-free death benefit to your next of kin, using your money in your IRA to arbitrage into the life insurance policy to turn it back into tax-free. So there's a lot of creative ways we can put a plan together that makes sense. And that's why we offer a no-cost consultation. By the way, you get the bookmark in the book has a golden ticket.
Yes.
But you can also call anytime you see us on this video. We've got the CoachPete.com, or you can call the number you see right on the screen to request a consultation with my team to put a total tax and retirement plan together for yourself and your family.
Folks, do it right now. Call that number you see. There is so much power that goes into Coach Pete's total retirement income plan. Start yours today and stay tuned. Chapter 2 is coming right around the corner.
Hey, I'm Coach Pete DeRuda, president of Capital Financial. Folks, the financial world is very, very confusing. That's why we put together a series of educational videos called webinars. You can see them at any time by signing up at CoachPete.com. We'll see you there.
Social Security is one of the backbones of retirement planning and relied upon by millions of Americans every month. So why do we keep hearing that Social Security is in trouble? From its inception, Social Security helped establish the very idea of widespread retirement in the U.S. and allowed Americans to enjoy their golden years without fear of slipping into poverty. What are people saying now about the state of Social Security?
It's funny when we talk about Social Security, depending on who you listen to, it's either going out of business tomorrow or it's going to be here forever. I'm more of an in-between kind of person. Now, some of the numbers say 2034, it's going to go bankrupt or whatever. That's all for worry's sake. Congress is never going to let that go down. I mean, no one will vote for a congressman again if they let Social Security go away. So there's always going to be a stopgap kind of measure. My opinion is to make Social Security more of a means-based system. Now, what does that mean? Well, that's mean to anybody who has money. It says if you already have money, you're not going to get any Social Security or you get a reduced amount. To me, I don't think that's fair. Many of us, or most of us watching this video, have put money into that system 30 or 40 years, and now you're telling me I can't get any of that money back? It's not going to make people happy. But in order for it to survive, they're going to have to do something. Well, number one, Congress needs to stop reaching into the Social Security Trust Fund and using it for things other than Social Security. And some people watching may not like this, but anyone who's never put money into the Social Security Administration or they're not a U.S. citizen does not deserve a penny of the Social Security I put aside.
I know that these changes can be scary to talk about, but let's get it out of the way. What are some measures you can take to prepare if Social Security went away or was minimized?
The average person thinks that we can control the safety and security and longevity of the Social Security system. To be truthful, we have no control over that. It's up to Congress to do what they're supposed to do and not minimize our benefit that we were depending on. A lot of people are depending on that for a majority of their core account in retirement. The core is the money that can't go away. It's always there producing income. Another part of the core is we use lifetime income annuities for that too, to give that certainty, knowing that you're going to have that peace of mind, you're going to have the check every single month for the rest of your life in retirement. I think there's plenty of
places that our government blows money on, billions of dollars a year, they could cancel and put that money into Social Security. So Social Security is never, in my opinion, never going away, but don't depend on it for all your retirement income.
And now we are entering our Social Security viability lightning round. I'll give Coach some potential solutions.
65 to 73, that kind of thing. 65 to 73, that kind of thing. So we're going to see some changes, which I'm in favor of as long as they can guarantee that they're not going to tamper with anyone's Social Security income in the future.
Next, what if we raised the payroll tax?
This doesn't make anyone happy. Raising the payroll tax, they do that every single year, it seems like. It used to be one number coming out for Social Security and Medicare. Then they separated it, and you see the Medicare number keeps growing, their tax price. They're going to keep increasing that, and they probably will. They'll increase your payroll tax. You're going to pay a lot more money to get a whole lot less benefit.
All right, now break down means testing.
Means testing is just a way for them to reduce or eliminate payment to people that they claim can afford retirement without the Social Security. Is it fair? Heck no, it's not fair. You put that money away, you deserve it back.
What if Social Security were put into higher yielding assets?
This has been floated for years. The problem is the quote unquote higher yielding assets. To get a better return, what do you usually have to do? You usually have to sacrifice safety. So if you are promised or they're trying to get a higher rate of return, they could end up with a lower or a negative rate of return on that. So conservative money management for your Social Security trust fund account, again, that's part of your core money in retirement. They shouldn't tamper with it. They should not take more risk. I've heard other rumors where they wanted you to give you the ability to invest your own money on yourself. They'll never do that because government likes to control that money too much.
And what if we had some sort of universal basic income?
This one basically is communism. It's basically saying everyone's going to make the same amount of money and you can't get more than that. I don't agree with that one at all.
We've talked about a lot of what-if scenarios, and it can be nerve-wracking. What can someone do today to secure their retirement?
The most important thing, I mean, Congress is going to be battling every single day of our lives, back and forth, blaming each other. The money world's going to go up, down, all around every day. The market will be up, the market will be down. Kramer will be going wild on TV. The secret to you is don't live outside your means. Know what your spending is going to be needed, what kind of money you're going to need in retirement. Make sure you have enough money put aside in your core account that's going to give you a lifetime income. Most people I talk to don't have any idea about what an income plan is and how it can give them lifetime confidence because you get lifetime income. So all the things together, I don't agree with trying to minimize your expenses. I'd rather have you try to make more money or have a better stream of income so you can do all the things you want to do in retirement. We work 30 or 40 years. We put aside money 30 or 40 years for a vacation, a lifetime vacation called retirement. It's also 20, 30, even 40 years of unemployment, otherwise known as retirement. So we need to have our own unemployment insurance, which is a true retirement income plan. We cover that in our 22-step total retirement plan.
That's right, folks. You need a retirement plan that can stay afloat no matter what happens in the economy, in politics, or anything else. We want to help you put together a plan. Coach Pete and the team at Capital Financial can help you navigate the financial world to get you where you want to be in retirement. Take advantage of the no-cost, no-obligation financial review to understand the ins and outs of your retirement plan. A customized plan based on your wants and needs. Contact us today. Also, be sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel for more retirement help.
Here we are, the big book on retirement, chapter 1. It's all about picking the right coach. I'm Thomas Lipscomb here alongside the coach, Coach Pete D'Arruda, the author of this great book that hopefully you're getting into. I did want to bring this up too, since we're at the beginning of this walkthrough. Maybe you're having a hard time getting through the book. You don't have enough time to sit down and read.
It's a big book, so it might be intimidating, but we did make the print pretty big, so people like me who usually need reading glasses don't even need reading glasses.
There you go. And for people like me who drive a little bit, the audio book is available. So if you want to head over to CoachPete.com, grab that audio book. It's another great way to listen through the content. But let's talk about picking the right coach. This is chapter 1, so a little bit important, I would imagine.
Well, you know, you watch some sports on TV every now and then. You hear about these teams, and sometimes the teams aren't that good, so they get rid of the coach.
Yeah.
And they hire a new coach, and the same players start playing a lot better.
Interesting how that works.
So having a good coach in the financial world can put you in control of your retirement. That's what we're talking about. So if you're not really sure if you're on the right track, or your current advisor isn't giving you what you think the attention you deserve or putting you in the place you deserve to be in, then get a second opinion. Maybe get a new coach, but have a review, have your current plan put against what's currently out there and see if it matches up. And so that's what we do a lot of. We do game planning. We say, well, here's where you are right now, but if you change one or two things, you could be way up here without it costing you any money, just by moving things in the right places. So again, it's about having, we've all put those puzzles together before where you dump them out thousands of pieces, but some people can put them together really good and other people can't. I had a dream where I actually did the Rubik's Cube.
Oh, nice.
I did. I dreamed last night. It's just coming to me now. You remember your dreams?
Yeah, sure.
No idea what that means. If you're a dream analyst, maybe you can tell me what it meant when I actually solved the Rubik's Cube. And I had the little pattern in my head and all that.
Yeah.
And I woke up and, I'll never be able to do it. But both my brothers could do the Rubik's Cube. I could never do it. But retirement doesn't have to be a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
Or maybe it is, but if you get someone who understands it, they can align it just right for you. So it's about making sure that your goals and aspirations and ambitions match up to what your plan is going to do for you in the future.
There you go. Important points to be looking at, and I think this is why we like to start off that review process with a second opinion. This is an important time in people's lives. It is similar to I think a doctor's visit where you find out something big. Through these chapters, there are going to be questions that come up. So go ahead and connect with the fiduciary team so that we can begin walking through this process, and we will see you in chapter 2.
You yourself have made yourself successful because I don't know if you want to share with the folks watching, but you have a lot of annuities yourself and you set those up for streams of income. How many incomes do you have?
Yeah, I have 13 annuities. Most of them are Roth IRAs.
Yep.
I don't sell annuities, I buy them. Right? And I've got some that start at age 60, some that start at age 62, some that start at age 65. Most of them start whenever I want. And so I'm guaranteed to have increasing tax-free income for the rest of my life. And that's what I encourage people to do, because we're approaching 40 trillion in debt. I mean, our interest on our debt is more than the defense budget for the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, Space Force. It's unbelievable. And so I think getting yourself in a position to get as much tax-free income is important, and the multiple streams is very important.
We call that a laddering strategy, and anyone who's watching can get one. Like, if you don't have a laddering strategy, if you don't have income, you really need it. Get an analysis, get a free review, get an x-ray of your portfolio. CoachPete.com is people go there, CoachPete.com. You can find out a lot of education on your own, and then if you're interested in finding out more advanced planning, let us know.
Yeah, and it's free.
This big game, every move counts. Plan wisely to win the match. Sidestep the unexpected and charge towards your goal. Navigate through the challenges. Retirement is your end zone, and the touchdown is within reach. A successful retirement is your championship. Let Coach Pete design your customized income game plan today.
All right, I'm not sure what kind of strategy this is, but I just saw this and I have to ask you about it. What does cash dragging into mutual funds mean?
Cash dragging is just basically, I picture using your mouse and you drag it from mutual cash over to the mutual fund.
Okay.
And put it in there. It's just dollar cost averaging into mutual funds.
Okay.
So instead of putting all the money you have at one time into a mutual fund, you take that money, divide it in 12 little packets, and once a month you put in 1/12 into the mutual fund. Why do you do that? Because the mutual funds go up and down in price. You do what's called dollar cost averaging, which equals out the curves. In other words, smooths out the curves so you're not buying too high or too low. You're in the middle all the time.
See, that's why this is what my Ryan would say at this point. Just handle it, Coach. You just handle it. I don't understand any of this. That's why you have to call Coach.
Well, there's 22 steps in our total retirement plan. That's one of them. But call now. We'll do it for you at no cost or obligation. All 22 steps to get you on the right path.
Welcome back in. We've got a series going called Women and Money, and luckily we have some women here, in addition to Coach Pete.
Where do you think, or when is the most important time for women to start paying attention to money or to start saving money, Coach?
Well, at any time, but it's one thing. A lot of us say starts in college or right out of college, but that's not even anywhere close on the priority list, is it?
No,
Not close at all.
I know we read these articles and they say, "Dude, just start to have $50 a month." Well, you're not even thinking about that back then.
No, because that's nails, you know.
I actually bought. I saw in the USA Today newspaper back in the. Remember the newspapers?
Sure.
Back in the day, they had the. I always looked at the want ad stuff, and back there, or the classified ads they call them. There was an ad back there, and it was only ran one day, and I just happened to be traveling. You know, every time I traveled, I got a USA Today. That was the funnest thing to get when you're traveling, before the cell phones.
Yes.
So it's full color, all that. But a little ad that said, invest in the IPO like the big guys, but right here. So if you could get 33 shares of Boston Beer Company. For 10 cents a share, or $10 a share. So it's $330. I wrote a check. You could only get 33 shares. But that, you know, it's $10 a share. It ended up going to like $400 a share.
Oh, wow.
And it was paying all sorts of dividends and everything.
Nice.
So it turned out a good thing. So, and then I did some dividend reinvestment programs. So if you're just starting out and you're saying, Coach, I want to start saving somewhere. Well, number one, 401k at your work if you want. A lot of times they offer the Roth option. If you're young, do the Roth option. You don't get a tax write-off, but it builds tax-free forever.
You bet.
You come out so much further ahead if you have 20 years or longer to hold that money in a Roth than a regular one. Now, a lot of people like that immediate tax deduction, so they put money in the regular 401k. They get to write off a little bit of the money they put into the 401k. The problem is all that money is going to be taxable down the road, including the growth.
Yes.
So would you rather have growth with no tax or growth with tax? Of course.
Definitely no tax.
And so, but save somewhere. I did dividend reinvestment programs. I still do. There's a good mutual fund or ETF. Vanguard has VOO, which is the S&P 500. These are good places to start. And they can take a little money every month and dollar cost average in, and it's a good way to start. But I really think by the age of 40, you need to start thinking about saving some money. Because now you still have 25 years to 65.
How do you deal with people that are coming out with these massive amounts of student loan debt?
Yeah. Well, you got to treat it like another payment, like a mortgage payment. And so depending on what the interest rate is, now if you have a high interest rate, you want to pay that off quick. Because if you have a 10, 11, 12, 13% credit card or student loan interest rate, maybe credit cards up to 29. Because if you get your house paid off, quicker, now you'll have all that free money to start really accelerating your savings in the future. Okay, but I think there's no substitute for the time value of money. The sooner you can get that money put away, the more it's going to grow, and then the more that interest in there is going to grow itself. So it's going to triple compound. And Albert Einstein called that one of the 8 wonders of the world.
Okay.
So again, don't worry if you haven't saved. But you may be doing a lot of things that are helping you and don't even realize it. If you're paying those bills off early, you're helping yourself.
That's interesting because I heard you and Amanda on her endorsement on the radio, and you were talking about, well, I've still got some furniture that that you bought on time, as my dad used to say. And you were asking him, what do I need to pay off first?
Yep, and it was 0%, but they can still get you in the fine print, which is one of the books that really helped me, that Coach Pete gave me, was like, hey, in the fine print fiasco. You can really, if you miss some of those details, oh, it's 60 months, oh, it's 0%, that can bite you. And coming from a family of parents who work check to check, and not knowing about money, and you see all those flashy things when you are in your 20s, when you are graduating, and you think, I want all this now. I want the fence, and I want the furniture, and I want the car.
Gratisfaction, I call it. You want it immediate.
You want it immediately, and it really does require discipline. And I just implore you to get Coach in your circle and learn, like, hey, where could I be when I'm 60? Look long term. Stop looking so short term, and then you'll be where you need to be.
You know, the game and gimmicks, the same as cash. 60 months, same as cash. 5 years, same as cash. They try to get you to do that. And here's the 2 zingers in there. Number one, they require a minimum payment every month still. And if you miss one of those minimum payments, they'll go back and get you for all the interest that you haven't paid yet, plus all the interest you have in the future too. And if you get to the 60 months and you wait one extra day, so 60 months and 1 day, they're going to go back and hit you with all that interest plus interest on top of that interest. So and fees and all that. You got to be very careful on that. But it's a great deal if you pay it off like the rules say. Because free money. All right, but again, the only reason they're doing that, they're not doing it because they're a charity. They're doing it because they hope you mess up. Vegas doesn't stay open because they're a charity, do they? They come on in and win. No, they want you to come in and what? Mess up. And just like anything in life.
So how much money should someone have in their emergency fund if they're coming out of college and they're in their 20s?
Yeah, all right, it depends. And well, I hate that kind of answer, it depends. But it depends on what you're spending in a month. So if you can really figure out about what you spend in a month for all your bills in your fund, you need about 6 times that in an emergency fund.
That's a lot.
Okay, and a lot of people say 2 years because what if you lost your job? And then the 2 years worth of fund would help, right? Because now you don't have a job and you're looking for a job. So, and we see a lot of people like that these days with AI taking a lot of jobs away.
Oh, it's
right. But a lot of people blame it on AI, but they just weren't doing a good job to begin with.
There's that.
If you're doing a great job, no one's going to replace you. Put it that way.
One of the things that always stands out to me when we talk, specifically when we talk a lot, you always go straight to retirement. And a lot of people go straight to retirement. But I'm a live in the now person.
Yep.
And so for me, I've come out of college, even now where I am in life, I want to take vacations.
Yep.
Yes.
I see this.
I want to do stuff like that, and I do
see
appreciate
Facebook.
I take a lot of vacations.
You were riding a camel this past summer.
I was.
That's pretty impressive.
Travel is so important to me, so I would prioritize living my life now while I'm healthy and able.
Exactly.
Versus just getting a retirement, and I think that's one of the things that people don't realize that you help with too.
You can do both. Okay, you can live in the now, and you can also save at the same time. And I like to put plans together like that too. They give you the fun now and the fun later, but never in a place where you're not going to have any money left over. So you always got to manage it the right way. But there's ways to do exactly what you're doing. You're doing it.
I'm doing it,
and you're doing a good job.
But it took many years to get here because I didn't want to. Like you said,
people are
live
afraid
and
to
check
spend.
and check. I don't want to do that.
I'm afraid to spend this because I might not have enough. Well, what if we put plans together where you knew you had enough, and you knew next year you're going to have even more money to do it? So that's what we do: replenishing income.
Yeah.
And emergency accounts.
Sure.
No, and I'm telling you something I've been working on a lot is just stripping it down where I'm not buying too much. I am buying too much. Amazon, too much shopping, trying to rewear these clothes. People aren't going to see me again. So the saving tips that Coach has instilled have been great.
Mm-hmm. It makes it easy to spend money these days. Like McDonald's takes credit cards. I remember when they didn't take credit cards, it was really, really cheap to eat there. We used to go in with for Christmas, we'd get a $5 book of gift certificates back in the day, $1 at a time. And Mom would say, well, tear one away. So me and my brothers would all tear one out, $1. And we all hop in the car. We were all proud to pay for our own meal. We went up there and we get a hamburger, fries, a drink, and a cherry or apple pie. Remember the hot ones they used to have? The deep fried ones? And a drink. For under, milkshake a lot of times, for under $1.
No.
Crazy, isn't it?
Wow.
Nowadays, you couldn't even get a burger for under $1.
And now Amazon's letting you stretch your payments out
Isn't that nice
on your
of them?
purchase, and they're doing it on everything. So it's really just everywhere. So
It's all about trying to trap you behind that dead 8 ball. You don't need to be trapped behind there. And there are ways where you don't have to be. So let's get together. We'll put a plan together that makes sense for you, a common sense plan that encompasses fun, like Jen wants to do,
live
but
my
fun
life.
now and fun later. We can do it all together.
Finish first with this guy.
Consumer advocate Thomas Lipscomb here in studio with best-selling author Coach Pete DeRuta. Coach, how are you doing?
Great, Thomas. How are you?
I am doing very well. Excited to get into the topic. Now listen to this. Something that is going to throw us back to 1981. You probably know what it is.
Back to the future.
Stocks, bonds, inflation-protected bonds, industrial metals all slumping at the same time. Not a pretty reminder, is it?
No, and we're almost there now, Thomas. I mean, when you look at it, the problem these days is how strong is the American dollar? And not what an exchange rate is, but are we still using the American dollar to trade oil? And there have been rumors that that's going away. And if that goes away, we won't be able to print unlimited dollars anymore. We've been able to hide a lot of the dollars we print because we are the international exchange currency.
There you go.
If that goes away, we turn into Venezuela overnight.
Well, let me ask you this. You're talking about printing more dollars. Obviously, that means inflation, inflation, inflation.
Yeah.
And I have a note here that says just a 3% rate of inflation would cut your spending power in half over the course of 24 years.
Well, let's look at it. People hear inflation. A lot of people don't realize what that means.
Yeah.
That means there's way too many dollars out there for way too many things to buy. And so here's why it happened. The government gave away trillions of dollars, and a lot of the giveaways were to tell people not to work. So
Isn't that crazy?
I gave her a Jeep instead, and I made money.
I love it. I love it. I will be there soon enough. I will be there soon enough.
So this is not good, though. This is not good in the long run at all for anyone. A lot of people like me just brag that I made more money selling a used car. So what? I'm getting punished all over the place. When I go to the food store, when I go to the appliance store, when I go any store, I'm paying a lot more than I should.
Okay, well, tell us, how can we develop that inflation shield then?
Yeah, well, we used to call it an inflation protected plan. It still is, but we need to make sure that our money is at least earning up to what inflation is. Or trying to earn. If you have money buried under a pillow, you're earning 0. And if inflation is admittedly 8%, I think it's higher than that, you are losing 8% a year in buying power.
Wow.
And then if you have money in a CD at a bank, maybe you're getting 1%. And again, inflation 8%, you're losing 7% per year. out of your buying power. So your dollar is shrinking right in front of you, Thomas. We need to have a plan put together that at least helps us keep up with that inflationary aspect we have these days.
And this is something that you and the team specialize in. So folks, contact Coach Pete and the team here at Capital Financial. They keep a limited number of vacancies on their calendar just for viewers like you. So call in, reserve that spot. We offer virtual consultations as well as in-office consultations. So get yours today.
In 2024, an EBRI study said only 1 out of 4 Americans felt confident they'd never run out of money. So how can you help people build certainty into their plan?
There's a lot of great financial plans out there, but you don't have. So let's put some of the money in a place we can outlive and put those in streams of income account. With Bitcoin, though, every time you do a transaction, it goes all the way to the beginning, follows the chain all the way up, and puts your transaction way over here.
Wow.
On Ethereum, it goes back to the last time on the node, and it adds it right there going forward. So it's a lot faster on Ethereum. Now, both Ethereum and Bitcoin have pretty good transactional fees. Bitcoin calls it transaction fee, and Ethereum calls it a gas fee.
Gas fee, yeah.
And that goes up and down depending on the surge, how many people are using it at the same time.
Yeah.
So there are some ones that don't charge a fee or minimal fees, but then you have to build trust with them. The only one.
Pete D'Arruda. I can't call it the latest because I just don't believe it will be here in the short
We're working on another one called Through the Years, by the way.
Yes, we are, which is very fun.
From 1909 all the way to 2025, telling you every single year the inflation, the how much a cost of a loaf of bread, gas, these kind of great things, and then some of the famous songs back then, and just things you're going to bring back some good memories.
Oh, and it's so fun when you read through the book, guys. When you get your copy, it starts off in 1909, 1910, and we've put the style in the style of that era. So then as you progress to the 20s and the 30s, you
the roaring 20s, right?
You get to the 40s, 50s, it feels like the Jetsons. You get to the, it's really fun. It's a fun book. I look forward to it. But let's focus on this one right now.
It's a good book right here, too.
Chapter 2, tax diversification and income bucket. So bucketing strategy. I'm sure many of you watching know that Coach Pete is and has been on television and radio for a very, very, very long time.
Over 20 years.
And we talk bucketing strategy a lot, but here you're talking about it in terms of taxation.
It's so much easier to understand your money when you can break it down into piles or buckets.
Yeah.
All right, so there's 3 main buckets when we're talking about taxation. We've got the taxable bucket. That's money that, like when you get a paycheck, it's taxable.
Sure,
taxable money. If you have a CD at the bank, it's usually taxable, so that's taxable. We have the tax deferred bucket. That's where you earn interest, but you don't pay the taxes until you take the money out down the road. So like your IRAs. Or tax deferred.
Okay,
you got to put money in, you got to reduce your taxable income when you put the money in, but when you take the money out, you have to increase your taxable income because you have to pay tax on it. Then the most important bucket, the most overlooked bucket, the bucket that is usually not filled up, is the tax-free bucket. That means when you take the money out, it comes out tax-free. When you pass away, it goes tax-free to your next of kin. This is the Roth IRA that you hear about. This is life insurance. If designed the right way, you can get a tax-free income from your life insurance policy through your life, and then when you pass away, a tax-free death benefit will go to your beneficiaries, your family. Very, very important. Or your churches or charity.
That's powerful.
We had somebody, he instead of giving to the church every week, he told the pastor he was going to use that money and buy a life insurance policy with it. So that when he passed away, he left $1 million to the church tax-free.
I bet they were happy about that.
See, I mean, that's a creative way right there. It made a lot of sense.
It is.
So if you turn the tax law upside down, it can be your best friend. If you have it as it is now and don't really pay attention to it, it's going to be your worst enemy. So we have something we call tax planning, looking ahead to protect your behind from the tax man. So let's get a tax plan put together along with your retirement plan and your income plan, and now you'll be in control of retirement and not worry anymore.
Yes.
Because the worst thing you could do is stay up late at night wondering where you're going to get the money to pay the taxes on retirement. We can help you with all that, folks. And because you're watching this, you qualify for no-cost consultation with a team who specializes in everything we talk about here in the book. So let's get a plan put together at no cost or obligation for you and your family. Go to CoachPete.com or call the number you see on the screen. You can be getting started as soon as next week, getting in control of your money instead of your money controlling you.
Very good. The time to act is now, folks. Call that number you see on your screen. This is all a part of Coach Pete's 22-step planning process. Tax is obviously a very big part of that. Maximize your income, minimize those taxes, and we will see you for Chapter 3 of Tax Savvy Retirement.
All right, red money, yellow money, green money in retirement. What is all this, and what does it mean to diversify between the three?
Red, green, yellow, red, green, yellow. Sounds like a song, doesn't
Yeah.
it? But again, we don't want to take too much risk when we're getting into that financial red zone. And that's about age 50 or 5 years outside of retirement or any time in retirement, you are in the financial red zone. So what that means, Amanda, is when we're young, we can take a lot of risk with our money because in theory, if we lose it, we have time to gain it back. But if you ask me, I don't like losing money at any time. I don't know about you. So we can make sure to minimize risk, but also maximize return. But the most important part of anything, Amanda, is if you have potholes in your retirement, you're in the wrong road to begin with. So let's get that smooth glide path into retirement, get that true lifetime income plan. I've been doing this over 33 years now. So I know what I'm doing as far as structuring retirement income you can't outlive. If you want to get a real plan together, folks, that doesn't have potholes in it, call right now.
I'm excited about our next guest. I've known the next guest for many years. He's a personal friend of mine, Coach Pete D'Arruda, CoachPete.com, America's Wealth Coach. Welcome, Coach Pete.
Great to see you, Tommy.
So, Pete, I know a little bit about your background. The audience doesn't, so fill us in on how you got to where you are.
We have 33 years in the financial arena now. Gosh, time flies, doesn't it? It seems like just yesterday. I started working with teachers in the 90s, showing them how to save money, tax deductible, or put in way before taxes come out in the 403B, federal 403B program, helping them save for retirement. Tom, then they started to retire. And I said, gosh, I need to know how to help them the rest of the way. So I got my Retirement Income Certified Professional designation from the American College, which teaches me and taught me how to make sure that people never run out of money in retirement.
Here we are, the big book on retirement. I'm Thomas Lipscomb here with Coach Pete D'Arruda, going chapter by chapter through the book, getting some behind the scenes knowledge and wisdom. And you're here for chapter 2, so let's dive right in. The chapter is called Learn the Rules. And you got a quote here at the top I like. It's from Albert Einstein. He says, you got to learn the rules of the game. Then you have to play better than anyone else.
Yeah.
But learning the rules is huge. And I think I can pick on myself a little bit here, Coach. You know, I'm not a huge sports fan. I'm more into the music and the nerdy stuff. But I know my rules when it comes to hockey, and I can enjoy the game because of that, or soccer or whatever. But then there are games out there that I simply just don't know the rules for.
Well, look at driving. You have to know the rules there. So it doesn't have to be just a game. It could be anything in life. There's rules. That's true. Anything you do have rules. You go to the bathroom, public restroom, there's rules. You don't walk up right behind people when they're, when you're waiting. That kind of. There's different things you have to do.
That's good, yeah.
And so knowing the rules will put you in charge. If you know the rules, you can build a plan around the rules.
Yes.
If you don't know the rules, you could do things that aren't right. And so the rules are not telling you what's. You're not going to go to jail if you don't follow the rules, but you could be in a lot worse situation if you don't follow the money rules.
Yeah, it's true. We've talked about people who have had excessive penalties more than they needed to, or maybe just not optimizing things properly, just because they didn't understand the rules. I do, because the tax. How big are these books with the rules in them? It's a lot in there.
I had a conversation with my daughter the other day because Daddy pays for her credit card each month. She's at college right now, and I noticed she was doing a lot of these food deliveries. And Daddy had a conversation with her about how when Daddy was in school, he bought one loaf of bread and peanut butter and jelly and basically lived off that. He didn't pay every now and then, but don't do it all the time because that's a money evil. They're trying to steal money from you, and they are.
Yeah. That's good.
Paying tips and delivery fees.
Yeah, I think, my grandma certainly didn't make up the saying, but she used to say a penny saved is a penny earned.
Absolutely.
And I think the word ownership has a lot to do with this conversation as well. Just owning your retirement, making the most of it. Nobody else is going to do it for you at the end of the day.
I used to pick pennies up all the time back in the day. And you could get a piece of candy for 1 penny back in the day. That was pretty cool. See, there was no tax on it. You'd go in and get a penny, you go get a piece of candy.
I love it.
So, but there was a study we did back in the day, and it said if you have a penny and you double it every day for 1 month, 30 days, you'd have over $1 million. If you doubled it. So the next day would be 2 cents, 4 cents, 8 cents, etc. You're up to millions of dollars. I think it was like 10 million by the time 30 days
That's
came.
incredible. That's incredible. I remember seeing
penny
that
saved
chart.
is a lot of pennies earned.
A lot of pennies earned. I love that.
Yeah.
We're going to allude to compound interest there, which is later on in this here book. But until then, you like that? Until then, though, let's wrap up chapter 2, and folks, get ready for chapter 3. If anything that you've read in here or heard in here has drawn out some questions, and you want to talk to one of Coach Pete's fiduciary planners, just give us a call, text us, communicate with us. We'd be happy to sit down with you and walk you through the goal line.
Yeah.
See you next time.
women and money. And we luckily have some gals here. I've got Miss Jana, I've got Miss Amanda, I'm Jackie, and we have Coach Pete to keep us on the plan to make sure that we have enough money going through our stages of life.
Yeah.
Because
Important.
you're right, it's not just about, is it? It's not just about retirement.
No, it's about living your life today and
Yes,
doing
yes.
things you want to do to enjoy your life.
Living your life today without punishing yourself tomorrow. And that's
Yeah.
what we do. We can do a plan like that. So you
Sure.
don't have to punish yourself ever. And so there are a lot of people that say, gosh, I can't have any fun because I need to save this money for retirement. Then you get to retirement, you can't do anything anyway.
Because you don't feel good.
Yeah, you know,
No.
yeah, but here's a fact of life.
Yeah.
We get slower as we get older, don't
Yeah.
we?
Oh, don't remind me. But through all the ages and stages, I think the important thing is, like, for instance, I'm getting married.
Great. Let's do it.
Next year, but it's been a really big topic.
That
Good
is
venue.
brilliant.
It's beautiful. It's lush. I'm like, why do we need all these flowers? I'll carry
Okay.
something down.
Save
But
a lot of money that way.
You
too.
bet.
I'm proud of you. You really put on your big girl panties with those decisions.
It was hard.
Because you want, in your heart, you want it all. You
It
want
was
the
hard.
dream
Well, sure.
storybook.
You want the
Well,
princess wedding.
Yeah, you
And
do.
Coach has got me thinking about getting a used dress. Like, I'm seriously, like, I'm not spending $5,000 on a
brainwashed
dress.
you, girl.
I'm not.
There's
I'm
no
not
need.
doing it.
There is no need. I wore a very
I said something
inexpensive
about a
gown
huge
as
dress?
well.
Yeah, well, we talked about it in one of our last
I might have just said I
endorsement
liked what
spots.
you were talking about, but I mean, no, you don't need a huge dress. You need whatever you want. That's what you
Yeah,
want.
and I guess my
That's diplomatic.
Yeah, my question is for all of this and for those that are going through this and merging money and still keeping their independence is how do you, for lack of better words, compromise in this type of situation? Because obviously you're getting married, and these are bumpy roads going into the wedding, surviving all of that with families and cost and expense. But how do you reel it in?
Many times, a wedding is the first time a girl turning into a woman has ever had to worry about a budget.
Okay.
Because a lot of, like the rule is that, but no, it's just finding that. You've done it too. You're already doing it. Mentally, you're making a priority list. What's most important? What are the 5 most important things in this wedding for me? Right?
Yes.
You probably
Well,
thought about that.
I'm getting married later in life too.
Yeah.
And so I'm not in my, but to my advice to the people that are in their 20s or early 30s that are doing it, I'm 40 now, is just really look at long term, like what else could I spend this money on? And for me, it's Jackson's school, and we need to extend the fence in the backyard, and I want to do this to the house.
You can always find a need somewhere to spend money.
As
Can't you?
opposed to a
That's not enough
one-day,
money.
4-hour party.
Yeah. And I want to invest, and I don't want to be stranded in retirement where I'm like, why didn't I do this?
Well, I've seen some people, they say, well, we want to do a good honeymoon too, but we only have a certain amount of money for the whole wedding. So let's take a little bit away from the wedding and have a really nice honeymoon. Because the honeymoon's more important than anything. The people coming to the wedding are just coming to eat free and drink free on. You know
Amen.
that. That's the only reason I go to weddings.
Once you're actually married,
I'll remember that.
Little personal dig here, but once you're married, are you going to blend your accounts, or are you
this is
keeping your
good.
own bank accounts?
So this is a loaded question because he technically
We have an attorney organization that we utilize to do the trust.
Okay.
But they are a lot more affordable if you do it through us than if you go see an attorney.
Truly
interesting.
So
That's such a
lot
good
more.
one.
We're talking about 60% less.
And there's tax advantages to
There's
having the trust, right?
Well, sometimes there's tax advantages. More of a peace of mind.
Okay.
A trust speaks for you even if you're not here anymore. That's what a trust does. A trust is a way to bypass what a trust does. A trust is a way to bypass probate. A will is an invitation to probate. Guess how much probate costs? Between 3 and 7 checking accounts. So, I like a joint account to pay the bills, like the mortgage and the utilities. And you both put a little money in there. You
Into the
establish
pot.
what you're putting in there. Yeah, you both contribute. But then you both should have your own separate checking accounts. It's no fun to get a gift
that's
from
what
a
we
joint
are.
checking
No,
account
I agree.
for a
Yeah.
birthday. Oh, happy birthday, honey. Well, good. Look what I paid for. You know,
I'm not a
that kind
fan
thing.
of the
So,
joint, so I feel like for that reason and other stuff, but my
So joint
independence.
accounts for your bills that you need, the community property, cars, insurance, all the kind of stuff you want to pay for together. But if you like a nicer car, you have your own account.
nice.
It sounds fair to me. I still need my independence.
A lot less fighting
Yes.
if you have blended. It's a blended family kind of thing. Because now you're with your husband, so blend the accounts. Have a joint, and then you both have your own individual.
And if you really have a good man, which you know you will, when you say, honey, can you please buy me this? Then that's fine.
Yeah, but you don't want to buy it with a joint money, right?
No.
So what fun is it to get flowers from the money you just
Jackie
paid?
is like,
Yeah, you wait for it.
absolutely no.
No, it makes sense. But again, you have to figure out, and these conversations, unfortunately, are had after the wedding, not before.
It's true because
And
it's
that-
people
yeah.
don't like to talk about money, especially women.
Yeah.
It's an awkward, a taboo subject.
But you guys are making 47% of the money worldwide
So it
now.
doesn't-
It's time for you to guys.
Right? You go to talk to your clergyman
I am,
when you're talking about, right?
One course away from being a psychologist, by the way. I had 5 psychology classes too, so it's a good. There's a lot of
Somebody say
psychology.
that's
when I
money.
meet with
Psychology
folks.
of money,
Yeah,
yes.
there's a big correlation between money and psychology.
Sure, yeah.
Coach, he's the man.
Get in to see Coach Pete.
So that's segment 3. When we come back, we've got 2 more segments here to talk about, episode segment, whatever we want to talk about, but we're going to get into even more detail when we come back. Hey, I'm Coach Pete DeRuda, president of Capital Financial. Folks, the financial world is very, very confusing. That's why we put together a series of educational videos called webinars. You can see them at any time by signing up at CoachPete.com. We'll see you there.
So let's talk crypto. I know it's not in our script. Believable case to a total non-believer like me that Bitcoin could hit $1 million someday. And he said all we're recommending is that our clients put 1% in their portfolio. That our clients put 1% in their portfolio in Bitcoin, because if it goes to 0, that won't hurt you. Yeah. If it goes to $1 million, you're gonna be happy you did it. Well, that resonated with me. And so I put 1% of my portfolio back when Bitcoin was 2,000 a Bitcoin.
Oh, there you go.
And that is now worth well over 7 figures.
Good for you, Tom.
You know, and so I just took 1%, and so that was just a little risk with a major. I've never had anything go up as much as that has gone up.
Just make sure you have it in a good place and someone can't come and steal it from you. Yeah. That's the only thing to hear about this.
So I know that.
And welcome into the next raw strategies that I think a lot of our viewers are going to know. That's the 4% rule. You'll see this written about on CNBC or Fox Business, wherever you're looking. Could you kind of explain what that is and what your view on that is?
Yeah, it was put in by Wall Street a long time ago. It says as long as you only take 4% of your stock account out, you have about a 92% chance of not outliving your money.
Okay.
All right, 92% chance of being okay. You know what I don't like? You've got an 8% chance of being in trouble.
Yeah.
I don't design any plan unless it has a 100% chance of you not being in trouble.
That's good. Yeah.
So I've always held my nose when someone comes in and says, well, my broker says I'll be fine. I say, yeah, you got about a 92% chance of being fine. What if you're in that 8% where you don't? If you got on a plane and the pilot came on the loudspeaker and said, folks, we've got about a 92% chance of landing safely today, who do you think is going to be the first person off that plane?
I'll be right behind you. How about that?
Yeah, you'll be able to do it. But, all right, so, and then they've done some studies and they said, really, you can't call it the 4% rule because a lot of people have run out of money. When the market goes down, you're taking money out. It could be even worse than a 8% chance of outliving your money. So then they came up, they revised it, and they called it the 2.8% rule.
Is that what it was?
So if you got $1 million, you can take $28,000 out a year and you got a 92% chance.
Imagine working your whole life, saving up that $1 million nest egg.
Even 4% rule is only $40,000. So the strategies we employ give you about 40 to 60% more with a 100% chance of not outliving your money.
I love it. That's so
lifetime income planning. So instead of getting $40,000, you get $60,000, and you got a 100% chance of never having a problem.
See, you take the worry out and you get more.
Taking the worry out of living in retirement.
That's a great.
One thing you don't want to be worried about in retirement is where the money's going to come from. You worked all your life to put this money away. Don't have someone take it away from you or outspend it. And so you can try to do it yourself, folks, but the do-it-yourselfer model never works. And a lot of times we're going to have the first 10 years or 20 years of retirement. That's when we're going to be in the go-go years still. Yes. We can go do all the fun things. So you don't want to say, well, I don't know if I can afford it or not. And don't take vacations until you're...
Gain that understanding in your retirement plan. It'll lead to confidence, security. Call now, and we will be back with you shortly for the next chapter, Chapter 4.
This big game, every move counts. Plan wisely to win the match. Sidestep the unexpected. and charge.
Pass away, especially. Do it ahead of time. Again, it comes back to the little green book of life. As you, as the person, you can write in here who you want to get things, and then why, and then you also do a trust or will to back this up. I like trust better than will because trust is pretty concrete, and a will is an invitation to probate, and a trust is a bypass probate. But this is what you do. You fill this out, then you bring this into an attorney, or go online and do your own trust. We've got a program that does it a lot cheaper than attorneys do, and then they have attorneys behind the scenes. But this little green book of life is step one. Put your desires down and make sure people don't fight, because we don't have pyramids anymore, Tom. They don't bury you with all your goods.
Creep too far into those. Is it hard to do though in retirement because you've got RMDs and all these different things that are,
One of the things that people get worried about is they say, gosh, I don't want to be in a higher tax bracket in retirement.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. That means you're making a lot of money.
Okay.
And so here's what you shouldn't worry about. Now, we have these tax brackets. You make a certain amount of money, you pay 15% tax. We'll say you make a little more, you pay 22%. Make even more, 28%. But it's only on the excess. Yeah. So let's say, Coach, I can't make over $50,000 because I don't want to go into this 22% tax bracket. So, well, if you make $51,000, only $1,000 of that, only $1,000 of the $51,000 is going to be in the higher tax bracket.
There you go.
Because you pay the lower tax on until you get to the higher level. So a lot of people think that once you reach a higher bracket, it retroactively goes back and taxes you the big amount from $1.
Right.
That's false. And so the first thing I always tell people is stop worrying. It's not as bad as we think it is sometimes, but it's still bad. But there are some ways. Let's say you have a great stock and it's done really well, and so you have a big gain. So you're going to have capital gains tax on that when you take it out. Long term, which is good. You want long-term capital gains tax, not short-term. Short-term's a lot more. It's whatever income tax rate you're at. Long-term is 15 or 20%, a lot better deal.
Okay.
So you say, well, Coach, this is going to put me into a higher tax bracket. I do not want to be in that higher tax bracket. I heard you, Coach. I heard you say I'm only going to have to pay the taxes on the excess, but I don't even want to do that. Now, so let's look through your stock portfolio. I'm pretty sure you've had a loss or two, like a bad stock. Maybe you're down some. Why, yes, there's this penny stock that my broker told me about, and I've today 100% legal, using the rules as they exist, to put you ahead of the game.
Fantastic. Folks, contact Coach Pete's team at Capital Financial today. Starts with a 22-step process. All of this is behind the scenes for you. We try to make it easy.
And there's no cost.
No, there's no, which, by the way, is such an incredible, even you offer this even as a second opinion review. And the power behind
Get a second opinion first, and then we'll tell you if you really need to get a new plan. Many times we say, hey, everything you're doing is fine. That gives you that peace of mind. We're not here to sell something. We're here to make sure you're in control.
That right there is the power of fiduciary, folks. Connect with his fiduciary team now. You see the information on your screen, how you can connect with us. Start it. Knowledge is power. I think that came from Schoolhouse Rock, right?
Yeah, it did.
Knowledge is power, and we will see you on the next chapter.
Welcome back to our series, Women and Money. I wish it was called Women in Money, because then we'd all be in the money. I'm just saying. We've got Coach Pete here to kind of guide us along. Jackie, I've got Amanda, and Jana, Miss Jana. Now, what about the divorce, Coachy? What if we get divorced with our money?
There was old Eddie Murphy comedy routine. He said half the money's going somewhere else. We see a lot of, unfortunately, they call them silver divorces. And a lot of people get it. Like
in retirement,
you go from working, so when you're working 40 hours a week, you really hardly ever see your spouse. You see them in the morning, maybe. And you see them at night for maybe dinner, a late dinner, a kiss, a good night, and then the same thing. Then on the weekends, you're doing yard work, or you're hanging out with friends, or maybe you're not spending much time together. And then you get excused from work, or you either retire or you get let go, and now you're at home 40 hours, and your spouse is there too. Maybe you see too much of each other. You go from not seeing each other at all. Well, let's even rewind even further. You go from dating all the time and loving each other to getting married and then getting jobs and then not seeing each other hardly at all for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And now all of a sudden you're seeing each other full time again. It's a new person.
It is, because you change.
You
as you age.
We all change. I mean, look, even our world changes because we have 7 continents now, and they used to be one big piece of land. They're constantly separating from each other, aren't they, Jana? And so we all are. There's gravitational pull pulling us different ways. And so compromise it gets more and more valuable and important as we get further into marriage.
And if you can't change together, if you can't, grow, then all of a sudden you are facing that separation or divorce. But even further than that, what if your spouse is hiding stuff from you, debt that you don't know about?
That happens a lot.
And it looms over you when they pass away, and you're like, how am I going to support the household? How am I going to do all this?
Well, even if they haven't passed away yet, maybe you wish they did. Sometimes you start getting these collector mail all the time, like you owe this, or calls
That's a whole
at
nother
night.
episode.
You know, back in the day when we had one phone at home, remember one phone at home was on the wall?
On the wall.
And the debt collector would call. Well, if the debt collector was calling, then you could hear it because you could hear the conversation. Now we got these little cell phone things, and nobody really knows what's going on. And here we have our own private worlds. I mean, everybody has their own private world now, and so. It makes it a whole lot easier to cheat if you want to, I guess, doesn't it?
I suppose, yeah.
And so, and it makes it a whole lot easier to cheat, meaning spend
With
a lot of
money,
money.
yes.
Yeah, and so when debt collectors are calling you on your phone, here, they're not calling it a hallway phone anymore. My dad used to, we weren't allowed to talk to girls when I was growing up because Dad was a college professor. He said girls were almost like Bobby Boucher would say, the devil.
Oh my gosh!
And so Dad would get mad at us, because he said, you should be studying. That's what he always say. So we had one phone, and so we had to make the conversations very short. And to this day, I don't like talking on the phone because I never really talked on the phone.
Yeah. Do you recommend prenup?
I recommend having a conversation about it.
Okay.
Because that's something that, yes, financially makes a whole lot of sense. Emotionally, it's that's a minefield.
It could be. It could really separate you initially, like even before the wedding happens. If I want to get a prenup, but
what have you been thinking about this?
Well, I was married before.
Yep.
So
who hasn't been these days?
Yeah.
Janice only married one
Still
time.
working on my first marriage. And he had a lot of Bitcoin that I didn't know about.
Wow.
And he was actually buying a lot of Bitcoin.
Half the Bitcoin?
I don't want to say exactly, but we had a lot of money in our real estate too. Nashville was up like a crazy amount, so that was nice. But I just didn't know the depths of all of it. And the forensic accounting is expensive.
Yeah,
you don't
they make
know
some
how
money
much
now.
that is. So know that.
Yep.
Know before you get married. And I don't know if I want to get a prenup. I feel like I trust Ryan 100%. But if you get married without a prenup, is what you have before you get married yours?
Yeah, if you get married without a prenup, usually, if you're bringing it into the wedding, marriage, it should be yours. But again, I would outline it. It doesn't have to be a prenup, and I'm not an attorney, by the way.
Yeah.
But I would write down type something out saying, we're entering this marriage at this date, and before I met you, I accumulated this.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing this in, and you had this, and you're bringing this into the marriage. If we leave each other in the future, divorce, then we should both leave with this without these being disturbed by each other. In other words, whatever I bring, I should leave with. But if you put it in writing and you both sign it and get it, I'm a notary, I can notarize for you. Get it notarized. It would be better than not having anything, right, Jackie? I think so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Again, I'm not an attorney. But,
Absolutely.
money causes more arguments than anything by about 10 to 1.
So iron it out now.
Iron it out now, because it's not going to get any better. And if people are fighting and say, well, once we're married, everything will be fine. No, it's going to get worse. So you got to start with a queen sea that has no waves in it, because it's going to get rocky. There's going to be 10-foot waves, swells. They're going to have 30, 40, 50, 70-foot swells in your relationship. We have a storm coming in right now offshore. They said about 70 to 90-foot waves on the offshore, but they call them swells because they're not really here. But if they hit the coast, that's bad. So you don't need that kind of wave hitting your relationship in the future either. So you can quell the waters by getting everything done ahead of time on a piece of paper, get it signed.
Sure. As far as retirement accounts are concerned, because let's jump to that, because you're in the marriage stage. But what about the Social Security claiming and the retirement accounts? What would you suggest women do?
Yeah, well, a lot of times your husband has made more money than you have over the years. It's not your fault. It's just what the world has done. So
a lot of women take time off to have kids, and they have many years of not earning.
There's two parts. Remind me the second part.
Okay.
It's about divorce. Remind me that in a minute.
Okay.
But this is like, if you're married to your husband, and you're still, and you're retiring, or you want to start taking Social Security, you may be able to take your husband's portion. It may be more than yours before you activate yours. And so you can that's a special claiming strategy where you get a lot more income until yours builds up to the point where it's higher, or it may never. You can always get your spouse's part. Okay. But if you've been married before and you've been divorced, you're married for at least 10 years and you're currently divorced, you can actually claim your ex-spouse's Social Security amount. Whoa. And they don't know about it and it doesn't affect theirs. So you may only get, like, let's say $2,000 a month, but ex-spouse may get $3,800. Which one are you going to claim? Your ex-spouse.
Wow.
So we can show you how to do that too. So these are a lot of things that people overlook. And here's one thing: the Social Security Administration will not tell you that when you go there. All their job is to make sure that you fill your paperwork out. They can't give you any advice.
During the CDs, with splitting up the CD oh my goodness, you guys.
But if you've gone through a divorce.
Well, we married more than 10 years?
Yes.
We'll be able to enact that strategy then down the road.
Fine. Works for me.
Jackie's making notes.
I know.
But if you've been through a divorce, you're probably already sensitive. You know, it's probably hell to go through one. If somebody needs to simplify things, will you do this for them?
Yeah. Yeah, we break it down.
If I just say, hey, I like what you said, do
Yeah.
it. I don't have the bandwidth to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, here's what we always do. Since I've come from a family of educators, dad, college professor, mom, school teacher, I like to do it for people, but then I also like to show them how we did it, how they can do it themselves.
Nice.
Okay, and why. And always, it's one thing when somebody does something, they say, well, why do they do that? They never tell you. When you go to the doctor's office, here, let me hit the knee. Why are you doing that, doc? Boom. My knee moves. You tell me why. But that's what we do. We tell you why we're doing things and why why should we take income from the regular IRA policy. Now you've already got $100,000 out to pay for long-term care this year. You can do it next year, the year after. The year after, when you pass away, whatever's left gets passed on as a death benefit to your next of kin.
You're like a protector. You're like Coach Pete to the scene.
Well, it really makes a lot of sense because long-term care, you guys haven't talked about it, but you guys are gonna spend more. Well, you can't really say this, but women are going to spend more time in long-term care facilities than Coach Pete is because, again, us guys don't live as long. But both my wife's grandmothers were in long-term care facilities for 5 years or longer.
I want a nice rest home, so I'm planning to.
You need to get that life insurance.
Buckling down.
Yeah, because long-term care insurance is way overpriced and it's nowhere near as good as having a life insurance policy, which you need anyway. They can never raise the rates on you. They can never kick you out. And it's always there. It's a permanent policy. It doesn't go away once you get it. And it doesn't have a rate increase. That's a beautiful thing. That's really beautiful on that. So anyway, there's a lot of different things we can do. But the most important thing is, we started this talking about divorce. You're not alone, even if you are alone, don't have a spouse anymore. We're always here to help you. And so you never want to feel like you're alone. And your finances don't need to be an enemy. They need to be an ally. And we can show you how to make your finances work for you. Like we're talking about the right way to file Social Security, the right way to buy life insurance, the right way to get that retirement income put together. We can do it for you. Just call the number you see on the screen.
So the Gallup reports that 61% of Americans fear outliving their income is worse than dying early.
It is. And so I wrote about this. I've got a pocketbook series. So 6 different books like this. This is number 4. This is tactics. And one of the tactics is to make sure that you have an account set up or 2 or 3 accounts that are going to make sure to give you that financial fill-up strategy. It's one thing to ask a broker, hey, is my retirement safe? And of course, they're going to say yes, because they don't want your money to leave. If your money leaves, so does their commissions or their money under management fee. So we need to have some of our money that's isolated from financial termites, I call them. Those are unnecessary risk, fees, and commissions coming out of your accounts. And we could do that with the insurance industry, a step forward to give you lifetime guaranteed income accounts. And if you don't have one, you really need one, Tom.
Welcome back into Annuity Avenue, folks. Coach Pete here. I've got Mr. Greg Berrien with me, one of my advisors. Works really hard to make sure people are happy, not only today, tomorrow, but all the way through retirement. I think you're going to see how great Greg does his job here when we talk about this hypothetical case example here. Before we tape this episode, we have an Uncle Sam hat in the office. We should bring that in here, Thomas, next time. But it's Uncle Sam hat, and inside the hat are a bunch of different age numbers, from 50 all the way to 98, believe it or not. And Greg reaches in there, and we decided we were going to do a widow this week. So just one person. Greg, what number did you draw out this week?
70 years old, Coach.
70-year-old widow. Yeah. Okay. And then we have a different hat. We reach in. Well, actually, we dump the numbers out, and then we put different numbers in the same hat. It's the same hat, but it's a different kind of draw. We have lump sums in there. So what kind of lump sum did you draw out, Greg?
Well, what we drew out was $500,000.
$500,000. All right, 70-year-old widow, $500,000. Keep in mind, the money we draw out of here is not all her money. This is the money that we say should be in a green account instead of a red account. So typically, we add another 25 or 30% to that, and that's extra money they have, and that should be in different places than this example we're showing. So, but the $500,000, Greg, needs to be in a safe place because she has no safety whatsoever.
Oh, yeah.
She's 70 years old, and she has no income plan. She has Social Security as her only income. How can we get her in a better position right now?
That's it, Coach. We're looking at, a significant income gap. gap.
Yeah.
And that's
well,
that's
between
a really
social,
dangerous
what she's going to get
thing.
from Social Security and what she needs to live on, probably, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you see a lot of folks in their 70s. You've seen plenty of widows in their 70s. And there's only one stream of income coming in. And they've lost one of the Social Security incomes. They may not even have any income other than that. And we've got the evil eye. And the evil eye doesn't stand for income. It stands for inflation. Inflation is beating the heck out of it. It's making Swiss cheese out of your big piece of cheese. It's now got a bunch of holes in it. So we need to stop the holes. We need to get rid of those financial moths. They make holes. I've never had that happen to me, but that's why people put mothballs. So we got some financial mothballs we sprinkle around, and we make sure to put this money in a safe place. So go over to the whiteboard now. Let's write down let's go through the numbers.
All right.
So in that blue box, you're going to write down the age 70.
All right, she's 70 years old.
Single lady.
Single.
And we drew $500,000 out, right?
$500,000.
So Greg, your job, if you decide to accept it today, is to show us how that $500,000 can be in a safe place and give her a lifetime income.
Guaranteed.
Do you accept that?
Coach, I accept your challenge.
Oh, yeah? All right, Greg. Now, again, this is a very valuable challenge you're taking on because a lot of folks watching probably have $500,000, probably have a lot of widows watching. We do have a lot of people watching each week. By the way, folks, if you like what you're watching, like it on the screen there where you can do the thumbs up, and also share with your friends because a lot of your friends probably could use this information too. So, all right, Greg, 70-year-old, single, widow, $500,000. Right now, it's all in the red bucket, which means it could go down, down, down. It could go up, up, up. There's no floor between what she can make and what she can lose, right?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And so what this lady is looking for is absolute security, knowing that she's going to be able to create that pension, so to speak, that money that's going to come to her every single month, Coach. Every single month is going to land in her checking account, even have the taxes taken out for it, because it is an IRA money.
Now, you and I are not negative people, but we have to do this every single example we do. We have to show you, what if you moved your money over into our place here, the example we're showing, and every single day for the rest of your life, for the next 30, 40, 50 years, there was not one single up market. It was down, 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 down. Now, the chances of that happening are slim to none, but it still could. Right? So we have to show you everything. So if the market went down, 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 she would not get any return whatsoever. She would get a zero, though. Now, if you had the money still in the red bucket, she would probably run out of money. She would have a zero there, too. She would have lost all her money. Because
absolutely. They're going to ask her to take only, 4% out, right?
Well, we heard about the 4% rule on Wall Street, which says that about only 92% of people are successful taking 4% of their money out. The other 8% or so people run out of money before they run out of life. Greg, is that our goal, is to have people run out of money when they're still here?
Well, I'm not going to.
No, we need to always make sure you have more than enough income, and then we need to make sure that your spouse gets that same income, and then when we pass away, we need to make sure our next of kin gets whatever's left.
And 4% is not going to help her make her income gap. Here's what this company is going to do.
Okay.
They're going to give her money at a rate of 6.65%, guaranteed the rest of her life.